Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Good afternoon, people. I hope everyone's having a good day, had a good morning, good afternoon. Where do we go with Spurs? Same Spurs, different day, always the same thing. What do we do on the channels? Half of us moan, half of us big it up, half of us agree. Well, I wouldn't even say half. Different groups, different opinions. It's no different to anything else. What do I mean? I suppose a lot of people will get it, do understand it. But what do I actually mean by this? Divided and conquered. That is exactly what we are at Tottenham Hotspur. Divided and conquered. Through and through. I've said it on other channels enough times, so I'm going to repeat myself over and over again. And I'm going to repeat myself here. Just go into a little bit of depth with it as well. For some people who don't necessarily get it as much, some people don't follow history, some people don't like all that crap, some people don't like political shit and religion and this and that. People are wondering where you're going with this. I'll show you in a minute. Divided and conquered is the oldest trick in the book. And does it work? Sure it don't. Yes, it does. You can use it in anything if you know how. If you know how to divide something, to divide a community, to divide... When you're playing football, you can play a divide and conquer with your tactics. In so many games you can do it. In so many things you can do it. Everything you can do it. I mean, I was going to do a show later on. I was meant to do it yesterday, but just had a hectic couple of days. Haven't been too well either. And then yesterday, lo and behold, what happens? Bloody main electric fuse blows. Had to get a sparky out here to sort it all out. Couldn't do nothing last night. And then tonight, my mate's moving up Newcastle. This is last night here, so we're going to go out for a drink and something to eat tonight. So I won't be able to do a show tonight. So I thought I'd jump on and do this now because it's a point I've wanted to get across for a while. Savard done a show the other day, just a video, and he was right on everything he said. It's stuff I've spoken about on other channels. It's stuff he's mentioned before. Stell has mentioned it a million times before, time and time again. Brian goes on about it, talks about it all the time. Loads and loads of other channels. I mean, going through them, I'm not even going to attempt it. But as Spurs, we are divided and we are fucking conquered through and through. So I'm going to say hello to a few people, and then I'm going to get to my point. And Howling Mad Murdoch, big up Dan and all here. Levy, Enoch out, Ange out, Mun out, Lange out. I'm with you on that one, mate. Mark Taylor, big up Dan, man, legend. Big up to you too. And also Bella, big up Dan. Hope you well, mate. Yep, I'm all cool. Hope you are as well. George, afternoon all. And get that stinking fraud Arteta out of my club. Big up Dan and chat. Big up to you. Sheriff Mark, how we doing, mate? Hope everything's good for you. Big up Dan. Levy out. Yes. Fraud con man. Clown. Worst manager in Spurs history. Yeah. Yes. I do not rate him in any way. But this one is not about Ange. Ange is not the main problem at Spurs, and we know it, yeah? We all know he's the problem. He's the one who gets the results or doesn't get the results. We know he's the one who picks the teams, this and that. We know all that crap, yeah? And as me, as a manager, he's got to go. But right now, put that one aside. In some aspects, it's the least of our worries. It's a major worry because we can go down, I think, but we'll just keep going in this divided and conquered circle, and that's what I'm going to go to. And Tom, how you doing, mate? Big up Dan chat. Hope all is well. Hope all's good with you. And Mark saying hello to everyone as well. Same as Tom and everyone else. George, smash the like button, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you. And Miss Bonnie, bonjour, boys and girls. Don't forget to like the stream. Thanks. Thank you very much. And Mark Taylor, just where Levy wants us. Exactly that. And Mario, good afternoon. Dan, we are in a major trouble if something does not change soon. Yes, we are, mate. 100%. I'm with you on that. And big up to you, Mario. And the dump, big up to you, mate. Afternoon, mate. Afternoon to you. And that whole world is divided, not just the Spurs fan base. Yes, you're right. But the whole world is not my problem. Spurs is my problem. Why is Spurs my problem? Because I support Spurs. Same as it is with everybody else. But you're right on what you're saying. And Abby, big up Dan, big up to you too. And George also saying, trolls don't get it, Dan. They're the thickest. Let them be. It's no love lost to me, mate. And Mark saying, George, you're not wrong. And George, yeah, so true, mate. So, oh, pardon me. And Amari, hello, my fellow Spurs people. Big up to you, mate. And Jimmy, right. I ain't even going to try and read that. I'll bite my tongue off, but big up to you, mate. And Red Mystic, always good to see you on here, Renegade. Afternoon, Mush, dig here, brother. How we doing? And Beanie Guy, Dan, you're the man. Big up to you too. Right. Divided and conquered. What do I actually mean with this? Now, just on a little history thing, yeah, because I'll go through this and it'll just make sense more. I think so, anyway. Divided and conquered. Three things that have always used it. Three things. And it usually leads to the third. That's politics, religion, and then war. The front two, politics, religion, 9 times out of 10, always the reason of a war. What do politics do? What do politicians do? They divide everything up. They divide everything up with people's opinions. They make certain things right, certain things wrong, and then the other political party are going to make this right, that right, and make that wrong, and then the people on that side will cross onto that side, and then that side will fight that side, and then next thing you know, that group are split into two as well, and so will that one. Next thing you know, you've got 4 groups, not 2, and everyone is at war with everyone. Religion. Everyone's got their religion, everyone's got their beliefs, each their own at the end of the day. I'm not a really religious person. It really does not mean much to me. But to some people, it means a lot. What does religion do as well? Divide and conquer. Why? Because there's so many different religions, so many different beliefs, that it's all split up to different places, and it's always led to the same thing at the end of the day in a lot of things: war. What does war always do? What do the top ones who've always done it, and there's been so many stories out there, divide and conquer. That is how you do it. I mean, I like my history. I don't know how much people on here like their history, but I like my history. Might not seem like a man that does, but one thing I've always loved is history. You want to go back to divide and conquer. It was even before then, but three of the best known ones that divide and conquer that proper worked. Roman Empire, Julius Caesar. The way he used to do everything, his tactics, everything was always divide and conquer. Split it up into pieces. Why? Because it was always so much easier to fight 4, 5, 6 little armies than it was one big army. Same as it goes with politics, same as it goes with religion, same as with everything I said. Same as it is at Tottenham. Same as what Mr. Levy has done with us. And the way he used to do it, he'd attack one side head on, and then he'd also cut it down the middle of the other side, so their backup couldn't get to them on either side, and they were split up on the sides, and he'd take out his biggest men. He'd take out his biggest problem, and then he'd move to the other side. He'd already split it off down that side as well. And that's how he used to do his stuff. I mean, the way he conquered France, Belgium, all that, split everything off from each other. But people who know their histories and know what I mean, I'm not going to go into all of it. Another typical, one of the best ones, in my opinions, Saxons, English. I mean, that's one thing English have been known to be very, very good at over the years, dividing and conquer. One of the best at it. Saxons and Vikings. When the Vikings came over here, we got a shock and a half. Sure, we didn't. We thought we were hard. We thought that we were good. They came over and they ate us alive. They totally tore us a new one. They tore us to pieces. They stuck together in the major groups they were. Each group had its different belief on the religion side, sort of thing, followed the different god, whatever, had its own little political side to it, same as everything. But they was all together, all at war with one thing, and that was with the Saxons. That was with England, because they wanted this place. We didn't know what hit us. We didn't know what to do. They absolutely tore us apart in war after war with them, fight after fight. So the king then thinks, what do I do? What can I do with this big army? They're just tearing me up. So he went to, I mean, I can't name the names of things and that, but he went to one massive side and he said, right, you came over here, you want land. Okay, we're going to give you land, we're going to give you women, we'll give you all that part over there. You now fight with us. Deal was made. But in the same process, he went over to another side of them and made the same deal with them. So now he's got 2 Vikings on either side of him, and then started picking off the smaller ones. And then when there was a couple left, he got them on his side and picked off the others. Then what he did, he went to the strongest army on the left or right of them and said, right, you want all that land, you can have their land as well. You fight them Vikings, you kill them. Job done. What happened? They set about them, and then in the middle of it of them tearing apart, Saxon army, right round them, bang, took them out. Divide and conquer again. Oldest trick in the book. I mean, one other I go to, I mean, even the stuff that was done in World War II, the way it was won in the end, divide and conquer. We all know what happened with that. They took over most things, and then Germans started taking over everything, trying to, and then in the end, they got so split up, so far apart, tactics came in, take off their support, take off the supplies, split them up on all the sides, and that is pretty much down to how we destroyed them. People are thinking, why am I talking about this history on a Spurs fucking channel? It's just getting my point across. Divide and conquer and how long it's been there. So, say hello to a couple more people and then I'll get to my real point. Because people must think, what's he going on about with all this Saxons, Vikings, religion, politics and all that? I'll make my point. Don't worry about that. Mark Taylor, George, good to see you in every YouTube channel. He's going to win a cup. Yeah, dream on. Big up to you, mate. And Bing Guy and Beanie Guy, if that's how you say your name. We ain't playing football. We're showcasing players, hoping to make bucks as we do. As Levy does, we know that. And then we'll say Glenn Hodder 11. Bizarrely, we've loaned out Dorrington, which just makes no sense to me, and about to loan out Yang, which would make sense in the aspect of getting him some gameplay, but we're definitely limited at the moment. When Ange is complaining about not having enough. And Mike from Poland, how you doing, mate? Hope everything's good. End of stream day for us as fans. It's more like end of season. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, mate. And Paul also saying, afternoon, Dan. Hope all's good. Hope all's good for you as well, mate. And George saying, get Dan more subs today, please. Much appreciated. Chris, how we doing, fella? Haven't heard from you for a while. Afternoon, Dan. I've been looking forward to this show. Hope you and the family are well. You too. And Brian, big up, Dan. Big up to you too. Miss Bunny, what are you saying here? History always repeats itself in one way or another. Yes, it does. Why? Because a lot of people don't fucking learn. A lot of people don't bring it in. A lot of people just don't learn from the history. They really don't. And Sheriff, I noticed that's a mug, not a cup. There you go. What one you're talking about? And that we are only divided because of our ignorance, lack of depth, objective understanding of the subject. You're partly right there, but there's a lot more to it on why we're divided. A lot more divided. Matero, Saxons, Vikings, nomads, they all originated from one and the same neighbouring areas and were related. Yes, if you go back in history and blood, mate, we're all related to each other, most probably. And I can't pronounce your name, mate. Big up, Dan, and everyone. VDV is back. Finally, some good news, but can we play him just yet? And Bella, Levy, and the Bald are trying to do the same thing. They're not trying to do it, mate. They've already done it. It's done. They've already done that. And Matero saying, because Levy's tactics with the fan base, exactly. Omari, Danny's getting deep today. I'm all for it. Big up to you. And Bella, I know exactly what you're saying. Big up to you too. Afternoon, history lessons with Dan E. Dave, how you doing, mate? If you're bored, do jump on quickly, because I know you know your shit as well. Afternoon, history lessons with Dan E. on a Wednesday. When are we doing science and maths? Maths is a different thing, mate, that I do. And then Bertie Hotspurs is saying, big up to everyone. Smash a like and subscribe. Appreciated. Tom saying, big up, Dan. And Amit saying, Ange about to kill VDV's hamstrings again. Yes, he is, mate. Right. But going back on the history point, what I'm saying is the reason I went through that, look at us as a club. God, bloody hell, that went down the wrong hole. All this I'm talking about with divide and conquer is exactly the problem at this club. We are split up into so many different little groups. It's not even that Daniel Levy has gone and split us down the middle and fighting two armies. It's not even that he split us into four. Could I even name how many? He must have split us up into at least 10 different pieces. I don't know how many he split us into. If I wanted to get a book out and bloody write it and add it all up, I don't know. We are totally split to shit. And Daniel Levy just sits there time and time and time again and just sits there and laughs. Why? Because he treats us all of us, even the ones that are Levy in and love him off. He treats us all worthless, like an object. Now, there's that saying of, what is it? The customer is always right. Yeah, Daniel Levy says my customer is never fucking right. He will pay what I tell him to pay. And we do. We go and do it. People go into the stadium. I've got no problem. People go into the games and that. But we know the problems. Then it's like Stel says, and others who go to the game say it regular. Alex says it all the time. But then they go downstairs and still spend 2-3 hours afterwards having a good piss up afterwards down there. The money just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. And what do we see of it? Really, at Tottenham, what do we see of it? Yes, he spends a bit of money on some certain players, but we all know he's put the wages right down by how many millions and that, just so he can try and sell a bit of the club, so he can go and get a bit more, some shares on the club, so he can get a bit more money in, so he can build his hotels, so he can carry on with his, I say bit on the side, well, his main business. Tottenham, our football club, is basically the bit on the side. That is what we are to him. with that effort that he just has, do you know what, there's a couple of million for that, get it out of the way, and I'm going to focus on my hotels. Why? Because he wants the money. That is all Enoch wants. That is all Lewis and Levy want with this club. Money, money, money. Do you know what? They even said it to us when they took us over. The main plan was he was going to turn this into a business. He was going to conquer it basically, and he was going to get money out of this. And that is exactly what he has gone and done. And in the process, he has divided up this fan base in every which way possible. Now, one thing for me, I mean, I've said this for a little while now. A couple of people remember it, others won't. For me, social media is more powerful and dangerous than some people realise. Social media has done a lot of good things. Social media has also done a lot of bad things. Social media has helped things. Social media has destroyed a lot of things. Social media has made people work together. Social media has also totally divided and conquered a lot of things as well. Because you can say what you want on there. You can do what you want on there. If you want to find something on social media that it's what you believe in, you can find it on there. If you want to find something else that agrees with what you think, you can find it on there. Whether it's totally different to the other bit you just looked at, you can always find something on social media that will, to an extent, make you right on what you believe. How do we get words about? How do we get people working together? You'd think by now people would have, even people who dislike each other, whatever else, would have sat there and just thought, you know what, I've had enough of this shit. I can't deal with this crap no more. Shouldn't we be doing something about this? But at Tottenham, no. It doesn't seem to work like that. Man U didn't even like their bloody shirt. 10,000 people. 10,000. Because they did not like their shirt. Newcastle, year after year, for how many years to get their owner out? They done it. If the shit was to hit the fan at Liverpool or Everton, what would happen? Thousands outside. Even just down the fucking road from us, down at Arsenal. When it got to the point that they had had enough, they turned up. What did they do? A lot of them started fighting with each other, and then all of a sudden it clicked in. Hang on a minute, we're here fighting with each other. We're divided, but we're all here for the same reason. Let's get what we want. Let's go on that one. Thank you. And then lo and behold, they got what they wanted. They got what they want. To get what you want these days, you got to be loud. You got to be a threat. And what I mean by a threat, I don't mean a physical threat. I mean a threat, a problem. And what is the biggest problem to a businessman? His back pocket. That is how you hurt someone like Levy. And until we become a threat of some sort that can affect him in money or something like that, he hasn't got a lot to worry about. But the thing I find so frustrating with it is, for me, just the way I'm seeing it, it's obviously never as simple as it sounds. But it is actually quite a simple thing. If this Spurs fan base was as united as a lot of other fan bases, the people could still go to the games, everything else, and then do you know what? Walk out 10 minutes early. Don't spend nothing downstairs. Okay, stay the whole game. Don't spend nothing downstairs. When you go into the game, don't spend nothing downstairs. There's a simple start. There's a little start. Yes, we're going to get a lot of people who've come over to watch the game for other reasons. Fine. You won't stop everyone. But if, say, for instance, the majority of that South stand, which seems the most patriotic out of it, which seems the most want Spurs to do it, stood together and didn't spend money downstairs. Let's just make a random percentage up for the sake of a percentage, and 10% of the people who would usually spend money don't spend money downstairs. That's going to hurt Levy. And over a few games, he's going to really start feeling it. Because if you think of the amount of money that gets spent by that 10%, that's a lot of money, and that adds up quick. Look at how we get all the money in out of the football. I mean, protests, I know they've all been done by Stell, by Brian, by other people. They have put their heart and soul into trying to make this work. And then when you get a protest with 200 people up, basically, that barely even gets noticed on a bloody camera, and Levy possibly up there just looks out his window and just laughs. Look at them pricks sitting there on their own. He's pissing down in the rain. There's 200 of them. What do I care? What does he care? He couldn't give a toss. Why? Because we're still filling his back pocket with what that man wants. Money, money, fucking money. We are divided in so many ways. You've got your Ange in, your Ange out. You've got players that are wanted, players that aren't wanted. That is normal. That one is football. You can be divided in that one. Even though it still causes a lot of arguments. But when it comes to, it gets deeper. You've got like Ange out and Levy out. Ange in, Levy in. Levy in, Ange out. Ange in, Levy out. And then you've got Levy's done this for us. He's made us this massive club. We are now known as a top 6 Premiership club and top 8 rated in the world, purely for money, no other reason. We're the biggest underachieving club in football, as far as I'm concerned. And then it all gets turned into, well, you don't agree with what I agree with, so you're toxic positive, or you're toxic negative, or you're just negative, or you just look at the bad, or you just look at the good. And the war goes on and on and on. And Levy just sits back and clicks his fingers. Now, I'm not saying it's just Spurs that do it. But the difference is when the shit hits the fan, they'll all work together. We don't. We still stay divided. Even a lot of us that believe in the same thing. Do we really work together? Do we? What? Because we go on a few shows with each other. Because a few people on the chat say their bit. And because a few of us agree on there. But what actually happens with it? Nothing. People have lost faith in doing things because they give everything they've got for it and got all the talk on the side of how this is big. Yep, we're going to be there. We're going to do this. Nothing happens. And when you try the same thing over again a few times and you just get nothing of it, you lose faith, don't you? You just, oh, fuck it, I can't be bothered now. Why waste my time? It's like supporting Tottenham, really, isn't it? It is exactly what we do. We just get to the point of the season like we have now where we're just like, I just can't be bothered. The manager won't adapt. The manager won't do this. You lose faith. Well, how about if we can get word about on the social media, like I've said before, and we can get a majority, because you'll never get everyone, but we can get a majority of these channels working together. Now I'm going to repeat basically what Sava said, because it's something I've mentioned before. I know he said it before. Stella said it before. Brian, Alex. The list can go on. Why can't we start actually working together here? Get this word about as much as we can. There are some massive channels on here. I'm only a small channel. And then there's other channels a bit smaller than mine. There's channels massive compared to mine. There's a lot of word out there. And social media is more powerful than people give it credit for. There's some people, I haven't really got a particular problem with anyone on YouTube because I haven't really had a particular issue with anybody. I know there's people on here that I'm not too keen on. I don't know them personally, but from the image they put across and whatever, not too keen on them. I know there's people on here I really like. And I know there's people on here who don't like me. I know there's people who do like me. I'm sort of one of those ones, you like Marmite. You either like me or you don't. If you like me, fair play. If you don't, I couldn't really care less either way. Some people just want to be liked, whatever, but to the point. But one thing pretty much I'd say 90% of those people got in common is we all want the same thing. We all want Spurs to win. We all want the best for this club. And a majority of people these days do know that the problem is Daniel Levy. Joe Lewis. But Daniel Levy. That is the problem. That is why this club goes fucking nowhere. And so many people know it. Certain people talk it, certain people will say it, certain people don't care of the repercussions of it. Other people, other channels will just keep their mouth shut for the sake of the channel. Now, I can understand it. Do you know what? If it's a business and it's your home business and it's what you do, I get it. You do what you got to do. But how far has this got to go now? How much further can this go? We are in a season where we are close, very close to fighting relegation. We are on the 29th of January and we have seen one transfer, a goalkeeper that basically we didn't even really need. People are saying, well, I don't want to see Ange get the money. I don't want to see this. Yeah, all the reasons to it. Do you know what? Even if Ange weren't the manager and we was in, like, say, 7th, 8th, even if we was in 3rd, 4th, I still don't think we'd see anything off Daniel Levy. Why? Because he cut those wages so low because he's focusing out of the club. More and more people, I think, are starting to realise this shit. Some of them knew it before but just didn't want to admit it or just didn't want to talk about it. But it's starting to show more and more. It's becoming obvious to a lot of people. So I'll say hello to a few more on what the chat is saying. Tom, been a member 9 months. Much appreciated, mate. Been preaching this for over 20 years, Dan. Yep, same as a lot of others that have, mate. And I'll just say that as I'll just call you the Yid Lewis, mate. I ain't going to try and put all that together. Dyslexic don't help you. 15th, and all the stats show Angie's not good enough and needs to be sacked. Be honestly, do you think the players are good enough to take us forward? This one for me, it's not so much about Ange or even the players. But I do believe a better manager gets us better results. Again, tactics. And again, these names, I can't read some of them. Mufaz, for sorry if I say your name wrong, mate. Big up, Dan. Big up to you too. Koy's87, fans of the ultimate problem. Yes, we are. We are one of the biggest problems there. Something Stel and Brian have said for a long time. A long, long time. I know there's others that have said it in the past and that, but I'd say they are the two biggest mouths on here that say it. And others that agree with them as well. We are our ultimate problem because we let ourselves be divided and conquered and know it and see it and are still too busy fighting each other to prove a fucking point. And when are we going to realise that being divided and being conquered is not the way that we are going to win anything? 1 second, just need a message. Give me 10 minutes. But we're having it done to us. We're letting it getting done. There are so many big channels out there now that if we all start getting the word out, and there's people out there that just watch this. There's people, hundreds of thousands of people that watch this. And a lot of people that feel the same way. Yet people don't like that channel because they don't like the prick on there, or people don't like that channel because they don't like the bitch on there, or people don't like that channel because they don't like the idiot over there, and the list goes on, yeah? That's why you watch the channels you like. And then some people just watch channels they don't like. You know, whatever turns you on at the end of the day, it's a strange old world. But then when it comes to it, we're all still wanting the same thing, or most of us. I can't say all, but most of us. Yet we're still too busy fighting each other on bloody channels. Yes, some worse than others. I'm not going to go into shit at the end of the day. But like the little YouTube war, I had people warn me about this when I started doing this, when I started getting involved on it. And fuck me, in the background of this YouTube, it is terrible. And it's not just it's everything. It's like a little war out in the back. A lot that people don't see. I won't go into any detail on it so much, but trust me, the war goes on as well behind. Same as it does in the chat, same as it does for everything. But why can't everyone start working together? Why can't everyone start getting this point out of enough is enough, and we need to get this fucking idiot out of our club. We have got a sleeping giant sitting there, as far as I'm concerned. We got the stadium, we got the training facilities, we got the money sitting there, we got the income coming in. Yes, we have bills to pay, same as others, but we still got plenty of money coming in. We got money coming in off the side with all the events, with the little go-kart track, with the NFL, and the list goes on. We need an owner that needs to come in and say, right, I want to win something on the football now. And we can really go somewhere. Some people say you're Tottenham, you go nowhere. No, but look at what we've actually got. Other clubs out there big clubs out there still have to build a stadium. Old Trafford needs to be rebuilt. That is going to cost billions. That is going to cost more than Spurs all day long. They're going to have to start focusing on that shit soon. The deal Levy got on paying this off is unreal compared to what he should be on the percentage. We need an owner who actually gives a shit about the football. I don't care if he comes in and it's just a hobby to him. Do you know what? I don't care. And that's the other thing the fan base is divided on us. If someone took us over, they wouldn't want this type of person taking it over at Spurs. Why not? Because it's not the type of club we are. I don't want that one taking over because I don't like the money from the oil. I don't like that one. I don't want that one taking over because I don't like where that money comes from. Fuck it, mate. I don't care. Bring the money from Colombia, if people get what I mean. I could not give a toss. I just want Tottenham to win. I want us to start winning things. And the only way we are even going to get this prick out of our club, or at least get him to start looking on the football side of things, is to hurt his pocket. Get him worried. Now, the last game I started hearing for the first time since Conte, when Conte, who I do say, did warn us about absolutely everything that a lot of us knew anyway. But when this man blatantly said it how it was, again, divided and conquered. Half the fan base fucking turned on him. And half of them agreed with him. It was very 50-50, that one. But again, divided. How he said it is exactly how it has gone. Word for word. Now, if people really want us to do something and other channels who believe in the same shit want us to win something, if we can work together and get this shit out on YouTube, which again is so much more powerful than people realize. Social media is one of the most powerful things on this planet. I won't go into the political sides of where it's worked and that'd just be too much of a story, but I'm sure a few people will know where I'm coming from here. Look at America. We can really get a word out and we can get people working together. If we can get word about on enough channels working together about turning up at Spurs at maybe certain game, enough people outside refusing to go in or refusing to spend money in there, or get enough people letting off just silly balloons in there or whatever, or get enough people standing up at the same time, Levy out. That is where this man will start listening, because that is where he will get nervous. Why? Because it will hurt his pocket. I can't remember who mentioned it first. Who was it who actually mentioned it? I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, but they said on Stealth Show, maybe the better way to do it would even be at the events. Spurs fans turning up at the events. Nothing to do with Tottenham Football Club as such. And causing havoc outside. And what I mean by havoc, I don't mean like tearing the place up, but having enough people outside to make people going into events who are just going there to watch the music feeling awkward, feeling uneasy. Next thing you know, they don't want that boxing match there. Next thing you know, she or he don't want to sing there because their fans didn't like it. Straight in his pocket again. That is where Levy will get hurt. That, with things like that. How many Spurs fans have we got? Millions. How many have we got that go on these channels? Thousands. Hundreds of thousands. Even in the millions. Why? Because look at how big some of these channels are. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Just a Spurs fucking channel. And then you got all the small channels that add up. Yes, you get a lot of the same people going on to watch it and that. But the word is there. And it's a lot easier than people think to get this word about. We've got channels that do it in America. We've got channels that do it from north of England, south of England, basically all over the place. If everyone would just start getting their shit together, and you're never going to get everyone work together, but stop being so divided, stop being so fucking conquered, stop being so willing to just take the crap and then just still go spend the fucking money and just say, oh, it'll change next season. Oh, but Mr. Levy's done this for us. Well, what the fuck has he done for us in the football? Really. Thanks for the stadium, mate. Thanks for the business side of it. You've done a good job there. Can't take it away from you. But I support Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, not Tottenham Hotspur Business. I support Tottenham, not Daniel Levy. When is this lot going to fucking wake up? When are some of these channels, some of our channels, going to start working together? Like Sava said, certain people got problems with other people, this and that. That's the world. That's normal. I use the world as an example for this one. Many a times, there's two places that I find this always happens, yeah? Where you end up going to a place where you know there's going to be 1, 5, 10 people there that you really don't like. You had a fallout with them earlier in your life. I don't know. Maybe it was a punch up in a pub. I don't know. Maybe someone did something with your girlfriend many, many years ago before you got a wife. I don't know. There's issues, yeah? These two places, funeral and a wedding. They're the two places that you go to, and 9 times out of 10, there is always a couple of people there you really don't like. You can't stand them. And you got a fair reason half the time. And they don't like you. Or there's someone there that you dislike them, but they dislike you, but them two get on fine, and you get on fine with that one who don't like that one. And it goes round in a circle. But the two places you keep your fucking mouth shut is at a wedding and at a funeral. Why? Because of respect. Because of who you're there for. Because you're all there for the same reason. You're there because your friend, friends, family, whoever is getting married. Or you're there showing the respect because it's their funeral. That day is where you stand next to someone you don't. I've had to do it at a funeral a couple of times. I've had to stand next to someone at a funeral that I really don't like. And he don't like me. And we've had to both stand there at funerals, standing next to each other. Even say hello to each other, just for the sake of the crowd. And be there because we're there for the same reason. To say goodbye to a mate. Just because we didn't like each other, it didn't mean he couldn't be friends with both of us. I would never be a person who sits here and says, right, if you're my mate, you can't be his mate. I'm not that sort of person. Some people are, whatever turns you on again. But they are the two places. At a wedding. I've been at a wedding enough times. This is one I bring up. I mean, I know I've got people I know. Watch this. I had to go to this wedding where the fella was a good friend of mine for a long time. And his now wife, me and her never got on. We never got on when we was younger. We still wouldn't get on now if I saw her. Could not stand her. Did not like her. And she despised me with a passion as well. It was just two people that just did not get on. And on the day they got married, some of her friends were there who I didn't get on with either, and some of their friends who didn't get on with some of my friends and everything else. It was but it was fine. It was a wedding. We was all there for our friend getting married, or they were there for their friend getting married. Point is, she was standing on the stairs, taking the presents and the cards off the people as they do at the wedding, saying thank you. I had to go to the top of those stairs and say to someone I don't like, and she don't like me. I went to the top of them stairs, looked her in the face, and said, you know I don't like you. You know you don't like me. There's your card. There's your present. And you know what? You look lovely today in your dress. Whether I like you or not, don't matter. And she laughed, I laughed. And she said, we don't like each other, do we? I said, no. I said, but I hope you have a good wedding. And I hope you have a good life with my friend. Gave him the present. I even gave her a fucking kiss on the cheek and said, congratulations, and walked off. And she probably cringed the same way I had to at the time. But there's that time and place where you know you put your shit aside for what you believe in, for what you're friends with, for what you love. What I'm trying to get at is we all want Spurs to win here. Most of us can see Levy is the see you next Tuesday, see you next Thursday, whenever you want to drink. And yet we're too busy fighting with each other to fight with the main problem. When the fuck are we going to wake up, smell the coffee, and work together? Right, I'm going to bring on a guest now, who's obviously going to have his good bit to say about this and add to it. Always does add facts. Top fella. Always been there for me on here, same as a few others on here. And I'm going to go into another part of this soon. And hello, Mr. Brian Dable. How are we doing? You're on mute.
Mate, I didn't. I don't know why I was muted. I have no idea why I did, but I'll repeat that. So,
Always a good
my
start.
brother
mate.
Dan, my man, HotspurHood. Hope you are well. Hope everyone in the chat is well. How are you, Dan, brother?
Yeah, same Spurs, different day. Had a very rough few days and everything, mate, but getting my shit back together.
Yeah, as I've said to you, Dan, and you know, we speak privately. With whatever's going on with this football club, with the fan base, with the board, whatever, don't overdo yourself with your health issues and what you're thinking. Don't believe me, it will drag you down like it's done for me with mental health in the past or whatever ailment or whatever. Don't let this club do it to you. If you need to take a step back, take a step back. Now, yeah, first of all, everything you've been saying was an incredible, mate. I love it. Do you know what? I do love a good HotspurHood rant. I do. I do. They are very, very passionate and straight from the heart, like a lot of us are from the heart. Now, I want to address everything that's been going on since Everton. Not
Go for
Everton.
goal, mate. Say everything and anything you want to say. Go for goal.
So listen. After the Everton game, obviously, people like yourself, myself, Stel, Sava, other channels that have always been banging this drum and always been fighting and always protesting when it's been there, leading it, arranging it, being part of it, whatever you want to call it, with the hundreds that I've been doing it with, and the people that go home, away, Europe, everything. We've all been there. What happened Sunday with Change for Spurs and Jay was an absolute masterpiece of the perfect demonstration, the perfect, whatever name you want to give it. And the reason it was so brilliant is because they went dark and didn't there's no publications. We'll be here. We're doing this. Watch out for this. The club had no idea what was happening, if it was happening, where it was cut, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't a huge success. Obviously, then last word of Spurs, Ricky Sachs, Crackers and Marlon and I think his name's TJ Rami, or I couldn't remember his name. Forgive me. When Ricky was incredible, whether you like or believe what Ricky was saying, he came out and was like, "That's it. I'm willing to speak." That's all he. Remember that. I'm willing to speak. Listen, blah blah blah. And he said for the first time, Levy out, Enoch out. Crackers has been that way for a long time, and he said he's willing to talk now. Sava did an incredible video, amazing video. It was brilliant. It's got the traction. It's got everything. What people have got to remember now is hopefully we will all come together. But people, you've got to sit back and realize that we have to manage the expectations here. There are people now going, I haven't heard anything. What's going on? Blah, blah. People in the comments, people are messaging me. People are probably messaging everyone. Going, well, why haven't they said anything? Why haven't they done anything? Why? It's been 2 days and we don't play another home game until Manchester United. People with those YouTube accounts or people that just watch us, people have lives outside of this. They don't sit at their computer 24 hours a day and go, right, let's talk. They've got kids, jobs, wives, everything, boyfriends, everything, family issues, work issues. We've got one chance at this. We are in such a good position right now, such a good position, that if this is going to get done, it needs to get done right. And I don't mean done right as in people need to give this some time to get together. People are like, oh, why hasn't anything been done yet? It's like, it's been 2 days. Two days. We don't play a home game until Manchester United. The talk is out there. You've got to let people. I can imagine other channels are getting bombarded with email. You think that, like Dan, in the grand scheme of things, we're small fry in size. Maybe not in the message we put out, but these other channels that have tens of hundreds of thousands. Can you imagine when their emails there? How many emails they're getting? How many messages they're getting?
I'd rather not.
You know how mad. Look, you put it this way. You know how mad our or WhatsApp groups go.
Mm-hmm.
Just with us. This needs to be executed right, set right, one clear message, not people going this way, about this, people going that way about that, and then people going this way. It needs to be one message across the board. And if it takes a few days, a week for people to reach out to each other and communicate, then so fucking be it. 24 years of this ownership. Doesn't matter if you've been against it 17 years, 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 days, 10 years, whatever time it was, even 24 when they came. Are people not prepared to wait a few days or a week or two to get this right? For everyone to reach out to everyone and say, right, this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. Bang. I have never in my life thought we'd be in this position. Or where we are right now, let's just say. I thought this was a little bit further down the line. Like a few more softer protests, or not well turned out protests. Bang. This is going to go on because after the transfer window, which let's face it, looks like we're going to do absolutely nothing. I think we can all safely say that. Then you've got in April the transfer window. His bonus and season ticket price hike. This isn't going anywhere. And if we're going to do it, would you rather do it right, or rather fuck this up and blow everything? This is what we've got to look at, and people will come together. I'm sure of it. I mean, Sid, big up, Jess, darling. Since my absolute breakdown on We Are Tottenham TV after the Leicester game, where I went absolutely nuts for the first time in ages on that channel, I've been getting messages: New Zealand, Australia, Hungary, Norway. And that's just me on social media, not emails and what. It's going to take time. And if I have to wait, and me talking as me, to get the right message out there, to get the right people on board, to go all singing on one. As you said, Dan, the reach, if everyone comes together, is absolutely massive. Absolutely ginormous.
Exactly.
Together we're stronger. If it all gets fragmented or whatever, it loses. It's like, well, what are these guys trying to do? Everyone needs to be on one page and realise that this wasn't going to get done in 48 hours.
Never.
Chin, we do have, the thing is, Chin, I just think that we have got time. Let's be realistic right now. When it comes to protesting, all we can do is at match days. Obviously, the away fans will take care of Brentford whether there was a protest or not, because you know what they do. Forget the Thursday Levy out will be sung. But obviously the Europa League games, it's cheaper prices, kids, family, blah, blah, blah. It's harder to gauge what's going on. The next game is Manchester United, which is what I think it's it's a Saturday or Sunday game, whatever it is. We're at Wednesday the week before. There's 10 days to sort something. And if people want to say we ain't got the time, we have done this for 24 years with this ownership. And now is the time to do it. And if someone said to you, you have got one push at this, and if you get this right, it works, or you can go at it the way you've been going and roll the dice. If someone said, well, we have to get planned, because you've got to remember, if they say that, right, this is it, we're setting up, that doesn't mean, okay, tomorrow we start afresh, it all kicks off. Buyers got to be found. Buyers got to get, everything's got to go through, like when you're buying or selling a house.
It all takes time. It's not a 5-minute job.
Exactly. That is exactly it. So if Daniel Levy came out today and said, right, that's it, you've got to me, or some bullshit reason he'd make that the time has come, I've got what I needed, bang. Tomorrow, someone doesn't come in and go, right, we're going to buy the club. Here you go. Let me just give you let me just send it to you via Western Union or PayPal, and I'll take over tomorrow. Everything's got to be done. So if someone said what we're doing works, but it's going to take 18 months for it all to be signed, sealed, delivered, taken off, that's a huge, huge, huge part of the journey done. The mission right now is to get it to where he's had enough and he sells. Then it's the time of getting a buyer. So the most important thing about this is making sure we get it right. And like I said, when Chin said we haven't got time, I know where he's coming from. I know he's coming from a good place. Believe me, mate, I've been saying this for 17 years. 17 years of doing what I've been doing. And if someone said, right, if you do this right, 18 months, he's gone, I'll sign it right now. Do it, bang, bun, bye. We have got time. We have to manage expectations here. The next home game is 10 days away. So there is time to organise something, to plan something. Change for Spurs have even announced that there will be something being done at Manchester United. So there's already a plan of what they have, whatever it may be. And you know Daniel Levy, who says it doesn't get to him. The gateway in the section where they did put the flags out, they've sent a mass email out already to say at that game, the Man U game, there's going to be different routes because there's extra security exactly where the banners went up. But apparently he's not scared and freedom of speech, blah, 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 blah. You get into all that thing.
Didn't stick the music up louder when they started. Didn't stick the sound up louder when they started saying Levy out either, did he?
Well, no, at the end of the game they did. At the end of the game they did. But
I was saying they did.
Yeah,
what it was during the game and that. They used not music. They used the sound effects they had during COVID and bigged up that on the sound to try and
because
out the background. And you could still hear it.
Yeah, because at one point, obviously, I was watching at the Scotland Yard, and they said I couldn't really hear anything. I was like, guys, what's going on? I could hear the really, really quiet parts where there's no real, because it was dead apart from the Levy ad chants. And then I got back from a few people, Brian, if you were here, you would be absolutely amazed. The South Stand is kicking off. Then I really listened, and you could hear the tune. So we want Levy up, but you couldn't hear the words. So like I said, this is going to take time. When we say manage expectations, you got to look at it. There are protests planned at every single home game. If you look at it, I've waited, and I don't want to keep saying I've waited. We've all waited, no matter where you are on the Levy out or where you switch to Levy out. We are now the Leicester game. I keep wanting to say Everton. Leicester game. Fabrizio Romano's retweeting stuff. You know the exposure that man gets. CBS. They're still talking about on every media outlet, and all these stats are coming about how poor we are, and it all came from Sunday. Don't get me wrong, everything that had gone beforehand, but what's really put the spotlight on it now is what happened on Sunday, because that was the loudest, and so many people were turned, and it has taken this long, and some people that have just turned, welcome aboard. Thanks for seeing that Levy is the problem. We're bigger in numbers. Which is, listen, we've won loads of battles, but to win the war, we need loads of numbers.
And you need to work as one.
Exactly. So this is the thing. Will big channels get involved? But what we do, I'll tell you the one thing we don't need is whatever happens now, we don't need to start videos going, well, why haven't they done anything? Why hasn't he done anything? Why hasn't she done anything? Because then the very thing we're trying to accomplish, we destroy ourselves. We absolutely destroy ourselves. And the one thing, listen, the club like to play games, and if we fight, they're going to fight back. And funnily enough, they've got the money, the reach, the outsources. They just need to see one bit of hostility between us in the ground or anything, blah, blah, blah. That image will get posted around the world. They release it to fucking journalists. Look at these people trying to get it out. Look at their disgraceful behaviour. And again, they have got whatever
exactly,
that we try
Brian.
to do.
Sorry a second, mate. No, exactly. It goes back to what I said at the start. Divide and conquer. It's basically used exactly the way they will use it with Spurs supporters.
Of course they will.
Political. Political. Politicians, they might as well be. And then it will lead to the war in the middle, divide it, conquer it. There you go. And then we take that one, that one, that one, that one. They're all fighting each other. We'll sit back while they kill themselves off.
Absolutely. And you look at this, those banners and everything, Change for Spurs doing things up self-funded or whatever the terminology is. Everything we did was self-funded, like the banners, the balloons, blah. Didn't ask for a single penny. We never did. We never will. But then whatever you think whatever money we can put in as fans, Daniel Levy and Spurs board and whatever PR machine, whatever, they'll find that down the back of the sofa. They have got bigger resources to tackle us, bigger reach to tackle us. And they listen. Things get bad or whatever, they'll try and take people to the cleaners. You've heard that they've reached out to former players or Twitter accounts and said, you can't say this, we'll get our legal team onto it. And you can't go up against Spurs. Look, if I went out and put a massive thing out myself, a massive anti-Levy, slandered it, whatever, and they reached out to me and said, Bri, take that down or we'll take you to court. As much as I'd love to say, no, I'm not taking it down, they take me. How can I fight Tottenham in a legal battle myself? They will do. They have so much power that they can just destroy it. So the most important thing, regardless of people, like you were saying before, and it comes from both sides of the table, in people that have just become Levy out or people that have been predominantly Levy out. The time for bitching and moaning at each other is over. Stop thinking that this is going to be a very, very quick fix and like Mary Poppins clicking her fingers. This takes time. This takes anything in life, getting a job offer, booking a holiday, it all takes time. And that is one thing when we're basing this on the only time we can protest. If people want to go, we haven't got time or whatever. Has anyone gone down to the training ground of their own accord and said, you know what, I'm going to do something about this? For the people that can. Have anyone said, you know what, I'm going to go and do something at the stadium today on a non-match day? I'm going to go stand outside the stadium. I'm going to make a stand. No, but why wouldn't you do that? Because there's nothing going on at that stadium today. There's no event. There's no concert. There's no game. The thing we've got to do is focus on the days and times we can do things. And the next time we can properly do something big at our stadium is Man U at home. And there's already a plan in action from Change for Spurs. Us talking about it, and all the channels will be talking about it, and all the channels do talk about it. Now, whether they are where we are, or whether they're on the other side of they still have faith in Levy, or they're not. They think he could turn it, whatever it may be. Every channel is talking about this topic. Everyone. So the message is getting out there on both sides. But now, like I said, all we can do is on match days, make sure we make an impact. And in between match days, hopefully people will unite and come together. And then we become stronger. But everyone's not going to be able to speak to everyone within a matter of days, hours, whatever. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I mean, Dan, we can talk about other things, but I just wanted to make sure when I came on, because it's like everyone thinks that all of a sudden everyone should have been, you know, like when the head of the mafia families meet around the table. It's like everyone thinks that it's just as easy as that. Right, let's message each other. Let's meet at this table. Right, what's going down? It's going to take. It don't work like that.
It needs organisation.
Correct. And to play,
if you want to organise something, it don't take 5 minutes if you want to organise it properly.
Put it this way, I'll give you the perfect example as well. Change for Spurs tried their first protest outside the stadium before Liverpool. Yes, there were numbers there, more I think around what we got at our height, which weren't bad for a winter's night, blah, blah, blah. It was the last Sunday before Christmas. We just got to a semi-final, all those things. But obviously the numbers didn't really turn up. The Levy out, the Kulusevski song was chanted, wasn't very big. They were planning something at Wolves. They called off the Wolves one because the banners that we saw on Sunday couldn't get delivered in time because of the Christmas mail and everything. They said, we're not going to do this. We're going to do it when we get these, and we've got a plan and we're going to do it right. They changed it. Obviously, they went dark, and rather than focusing on outside, like we always did, they'd obviously been speaking behind the scenes with people, don't know who, and said, we're going to do this inside. This is and they had from when they called the Wolves one off to what was Leicester. So we had Newcastle, Wolves. Can't remember if we had any other. The Liverpool Cup game in the semi-final. Quiet to build this and make sure they got it right with the one chance that they got. And boy, did they get it right. So if it takes time to plan something and have the effect that it did Sunday, take your time, plan. Rather than just doing something and it not getting the desired effect. Because it definitely got the desired effect on Sunday. And no one can deny that. No one. It's got to be planned accordingly. And that's why I don't know how you feel about it. It just seems that we've got to manage expectations here.
Mm-hmm. It's like another old trick that they say, yeah? I mean, another one that was always a good one that gets used in a lot of phrases is Trojan horse as well. That was always another good way to get something, when you had something on the inside that could do some of the work for you. Another very old trick that always worked. There's ways that people always done things through life. And the reason I use war as the example, and politics and religion and all that crap, is because it's one of the main three you can look at, because they all relate to each other. They all come back to each other one way or another. And I'm just at that point now. Do I even give a shit about Ange being the manager at the moment? No, I don't. Do I want him here? No, I don't. But I'm not even going to go into that. I've just had enough, and I've had enough for a long time, same as you, same as others, of our club just being taken as nothing but a little business, and the fans just being treated like a bunch of little bitches, basically.
Yeah.
And to an extent, when I say we, I mean Spurs, yeah?
Yeah.
We have got ourselves to thank for that. Why? Because we have sat back and let it happen. And have a little moan about it here and there, but sit back and let it happen. And there's been several times where something could have really got done, but people just didn't do it. A lot of people thought, well, if I don't go, what does it matter? Other people, the problem is that you will always have people that believe otherwise. There will always be a divide in it. There always will be a divide in everything. But when out of, say, the 6 divides, you can get at least 4 of them working together, you now have a much bigger army. You now have a majority on your side. And for what I do see of what people are starting to say and what other channels are, it is starting to look like people are starting to see the same direction.
Yep.
Okay, some people might want to do it that way. Other people might want to do it this way. This is where it goes into organization. This is where you go and put everyone with their best ideas, and you get the best ideas out of each of them, and you put it together as one, and you make something work. People will say, we can't do this at Spurs. They're too powerful. Yeah, they are powerful. We know that. But are you telling me Spurs are really that much more powerful than Arsenal? We ain't much bigger than, like, if you want to go by money, business-wise, we ain't that much bigger than them. Not at all. A little bit more income than them. But if you go by history and that, they're tenfold club we are. Like I said, we're the biggest underachieving club football has ever seen, most probably. But when those Arsenal fans went outside there, a lot of people were laughing at the videos because they was all punching each other up. I don't know who had said something. I don't know what happened, but it literally all of a sudden went, why are we fighting each other? That is the prick we want to be fighting, because this is what we want. And next thing you know, they stopped fighting each other and they all started going for who they wanted. So whether you like the person next to you or not, if you're both fighting there for the same reason, I use the phrase fighting lightly. When I mean fighting, I'm not necessarily saying punch up, whatever else, yeah?
Of course,
but when you're all aiming for the main cause, whether it comes to everyone voting together, I'm not saying this is a vote, I'm just saying things that happen, or everyone fighting for the reason, or everyone doing the same thing to get to the same goal, basically.
Exactly.
Things can work.
You're spot on. I'm just going to mention a comment. I love this person dearly, Rob Frank. I love him. He's brilliant. He's on all the channels. Love him. He's a great guy. This one is like, but this is the thing, Rob. I don't think it is this time. Honestly, right now, if you look at it, everyone, yes, Ange is a problem, whatever, but the wage bills that keep coming out, that he's the highest paid director, the transfer market, the events. This hasn't been about Ange Postecoglou, and as you know, I've said all the time, There are different people that reach their breaking point at different times. People have wanted to be optimistic or didn't want to come to the conclusion that, you know what, the chairman is actually the problem. And like I said, mine, everyone knows, is Martin Jol. Some was the window that we signed no one in the summer. Then some was when we didn't sign anyone for the season. Some was Pochettino sacking. Some was Jose Mourinho before a final. Some was the Super League. Some was Conte getting sacked. The war chest that we didn't spend. There are so many people coming on board now. And I'm going to go back to a phrase I said on Savas and I've used for ages. I've even said it to you, Dan. I look at it and I refer to Mount Everest as Mount Levy. And people like yourself and me, Dan, are at the top of the mountain looking over this breathtaking view of what the world could look like without Levy. We put our flag at the top to say we've reached there, and we can see it. We can clearly see what life is like or could be like under a new owner. But what we need are more people climbing up that mountain and coming and take a look at the view. And more people have started to climb that mountain. They might not be there yet. Some might have been halfway there. They're there. Some might be at the very bottom going, yeah, do you know what? This might be, these guys might have a point. I think Levy is now a problem. I can't defend him any longer. Look how long it took me to turn on Ange. And I've never turned on a manager, ever. Mm-hmm. But there's only so long I can defend something.
Everyone has a different breaking point.
Exactly. And I actually think being 15th, the injuries, but it's not even, do you know what? I think the whole thing right now isn't even about being 15th and the injuries and Ange. I think this January transfer window, where we desperately, I mean, normally we need players to try and help push us to Europe or whatever, and just need better players. But we get there. We're here now, and you can see whether you want Ange in or not, the manager is literally threadbare. Yes, some of it is his own doing, but you would think, shit, we need to get people. We need to get people in to help the manager if he's our guy. And they're not even doing that. And I think this is what's got to people. I don't even think it's about the league position, in all honesty. Yes, we shouldn't be there. Yes, it's frustrating. I mean, how many people you got in the chat right now?
About 175.
175. So if I was to say it's 175, if let's just say a majority of the 175 are Levy out, Canada is incredible. I love Canada. And Scott M's here, so he'll probably say, yeah, I'm a visitor. But if I said to the 175 odd people that are here, put the reason that was your breaking point. In fact, let's do it. People put your breaking point for Levy. There'll be many people that repeat it, but there's going to be different timelines where people have done it. And it's like, well, welcome aboard. Let's work together. Let's get there. And this is the thing. That's what we got to see. This has been a big breaking point for a lot of people. This has been so many people will come from me and go, oh, here he is, he's talking Levy again, whatever. It's because everything that's going through now, I've been saying it for 17 years. If someone had told me 3 years ago, where I would have been at the training ground on this day 3 years ago, that it will be this bad 3 years later, even I would have turned around and said, no, it can't be. But it is. So look, yeah, you've got people coming in with you can see that people will have different times of when it comes, and this is the thing. Mm-hmm. Unlike people that have heavily defended Ange, and fair play, listen, if they do whatever. Don't agree, I won't go, you fucking idiot. I'll be like, I don't agree, blah blah blah. But you've got a lot of people going, oh, when Ange wins glory, I can't wait to rub it in all these guys' faces. I can't wait to go. They make it so personal and listen, there's people on the other side that do it as well. But everyone that I have people reach out and go, Brian, I just want to apologise for doubting you with Levy out or for going at you for Levy out. We're all coming together, and if we're going to do that, that means people that have been pro board saying, do you know what, anti-board were right. I keep joking to people. I say, welcome aboard. Please send me your address so I can send you your Levy out welcome pack. You get a key ring, a scarf. But that's the thing. It's like, welcome aboard. I'm not going, oh, what took you so fucking long? Why the fuck are you coming now? Oh, now it's like, welcome aboard. We need numbers. We need numbers, and the numbers are finally coming. I don't care how we get them. I don't care how we get them, why we get them. The most important thing is we do get them.
No, and exactly that. Do you know what that is? That's basically, again, to what I said at the start. That's politics, mate. That's how it works.
Yep.
They don't care. As long as they get their votes, as long as they get the numbers, they don't care that the person who's just voted for them for the past 20 years voted for someone else. They're like, thank you. You're with us now. That's where you need to be. Not, well, you said this, you've said this for the past 2 years and everything, you prick. We don't want you here.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, you said that and that, different opinions. We've had our arguments, whatever, but you're now seeing it this way. Yep. Come along. I don't care if I like you. I don't care if you like me. We're going to fight for the same cause now. I mean, another example I can give, this might seem like a weird one. When I used to play football myself, yeah? I mean, David Arthur's on here and know this story exactly, yeah? I mean, again, I don't say names. But people who know me will know this one. There was this fella that I did not get on with. I did not like him, and he did not like me at all. And we played in the same football team. When we'd have a drink after, whatever, he'd be over there on the bar, I'd be there on the bar. We didn't go near each other. We did not like each other. There'd been enough punch-ups there, whatever else. But as soon as I used to get on that pitch, and he used to get on the pitch, he used to play next to me in midfield. I used to be more of a defensive midfielder. I always knew that he was always on my back. And what I meant by that was he had it covered. Come love nor money.
Yeah.
Same as I did for him. Many a time he got into a tear up on the pitch, I was straight there with him. Many a time I got up to a tear up on there, or someone give me a dirty tackle and put me down, he'd go and take his leg straight out. You know what Sunday League's like. It's it's a bit of a different style of football. What I'm saying is we did not like each other. No love, no loss. If something would have happened to the other one, I would have shrugged my shoulders and said, like, life's a bitch. But on that football pitch, we both wanted the same thing. We both wanted to win. I mean, many a time there ended up a tear up with me, him, and others. And then when we come off the pitch, he wouldn't say thank you. I wouldn't say thank you. We'd just get on with it. But when we was on the pitch, we both wanted to win. We both wanted to play at that club. And David R., my mate, is this the man who has a hill named after him in our hometown? Yes, it is. He knows exactly who I'm on about. And
is that the David I've been on the stream with before?
Yeah. He's the one who does streams.
He's a top man. Big up, David.
He knows exactly the situation I'm talking about. But then as soon as it was off the pitch, we wouldn't even talk.
And that's
why we stuck up for each other, why we worked together, was because we wanted to win. Simple as that. Why can't most of these fan base do it?
That's it.
Why can't the people, the channels that dislike other channels, this and that, everything else, people who dislike other people, when you're all actually fighting for the same thing, what's the point of fighting each other in the process?
Exactly, but we've got people, and this goes with people in the chats trying to stir things up in all chats. Cowlins here, mine, Tottenham away, Tottenham on tour. I said mine already. The two marks, we are Tottenham TV. The whole stuff going on within chats and within fellow content creators. The petrol's got to be stopped poured on the fire, and people got to stop thinking that all of a sudden, like I said with the mafia table, that the hosts or chief content creators are all going to meet up at some table and just go, right, let's do this, what we're doing. It's not going to happen overnight. Expectations need to be managed. And there's Scott, I can see you saying as well, mate, and I love Scott. I love him dearly. When he's saying these channels are doing it for clicks and likes. We haven't even had a chance to be to a protest yet. How do you know? And you've got to remember, whether you want to, let's use last word on Spurs for an example. They had 20,000 people watching them live across all their platforms on Sunday. That's a massive goddamn reach. And sometimes it doesn't even come down to the content creators. The reach, the 4 people that are on that screen, who's bigger, the 4 people or the 20,000 people watching? Numbers. The reach. And people seeing last night on Spurs have turned. Because say, my God, if they've turned, Jesus Christ. The numbers are coming. The numbers are there. And until protests come, and no chance for a protest has come just yet in the 2 days since, or 3 days now, since Ricky said his thing and Sava did his on Monday. Well, like I said, at the beginning, what were people expecting? A mass surge on the training ground over the last couple of days. People could have done that. Not YouTube creators, but no one's gone there. Like I did with 3 people, and it escalated. You're not going to go to the stadium today and protest. There's no point. There's absolutely no point. What's it going to do? Apart from cameras might come. No one's there. No problem, brother. Thank you. This is the thing. Sometimes it goes way OTT. And the knives come out because people haven't done anything, but they haven't had the opportunity to do anything.
Exactly. If they've only just joined the calls, what can you have expected them to have done?
Exactly. If there'd been a game day tomorrow, or sorry, a game day in the last couple of days, would I have expected people that have turned content creators and supporters to be there if there was something outside? Well, I've seen outside. I've arranged about more than 20 protests, and we're lucky if we get 200 people. And the videos we do may not get the reach that these big channels do, but they get shared about in WhatsApp groups or retweeted, whatever. They don't come. And that's when we plan things and given people a lot of notice. So when there hasn't been a chance to do anything, how can someone do anything? It's like when they say you don't know what you don't know. How can you do something when there's been nothing to do?
It's true. If you've just joined a group.
But Scott, this is they do next. Scott.
This is the point we're saying, Scott. Yeah, they've had years to do something they all didn't want to, or they didn't. Fine, but that's what I was saying earlier. When someone just political is the only way I can really describe it best. What do they care whether the person's been voting for 20 years for the others when they're now voting for them? That's all they care about. They've got the votes now. Right. If that person has changed his opinion to the good of the club for what we feel and what we're fighting for, come along, mate. You're welcome. You don't have to dig it and throw it back in the face of like, well, you did fuck all for the past fucking 5 years, did you? And was always grilling me and everything and that. Yeah, all right, that's personal shit. I still might not like you as a person. You might not like me, but you're now on the same cause as me. We're now fighting together. So put that aside. You don't have to call each other afterwards. You don't have to go for a beer for each other afterwards, or I like Southern Comfort as well. You don't have to do anything.
I used to love Southern Comfort. I used to love Southern Comfort.
The only thing you might have to do as well is you might have to go to a wedding or a funeral together. And then you still have to acknowledge each other at least and get on with it, yeah? Doesn't mean you have to be friends. You just have to work together. You're there for the same reason. You're there for the same cause. And this is why I say with all the other channels, Brian. I mean,
can you leave Scott's comment up, because I just want to give a reference to that. But finish what you were saying, but I just want to comment on that.
There's so many channels you can go for that are all on here. I mean, I can name a lot of them. There's bigger ones, there's smaller ones. Like I said, we've got channels out in fucking America, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I use that one because America is it's a long way away from England. What can they do from there? They can't really do a lot in person, but they can definitely put a lot on their shows. And I can vouch that they're not Levy in.
Exactly.
Other people, like there's obviously Tottenham away, Irish Hotspur, and then there's other things. There's yours, Tottenham on tour, with Expression saying it the other day, me saying it, Spurs Kings TV has I can go on through a list of them, through loads of them. Alistair Gold's even starting to look like he's turning a bit. People, last word on Spurs. You can go through a list of all of them, yeah? I don't care what they thought about then. If a majority of these people are starting to come on the course that we want for the best of the club, then you work together. And the only reason I've named them is because they're just random shows I'm naming, Brian. I don't.
Oh no,
that's no digs at no one. I'm just saying that's random shows, and some of them are bloody big.
Exactly, and like I said, just the fact. Listen, people can think what they want of expressions. Oh wait a minute, leave that one. Let me do with that one. Then I'll get to expressions. Scott, what I will say with this is, and it's good you mentioned Southern Comfort. Obviously people know now I've not drunk for 16. It'll be 17. No, yeah, it'll be 17 years in July. But before that, I tried to give up 4 or 5 times just to shut people up. Because they're like, oh, you're drinking, we're concerned. The longest I went is 2 weeks because I didn't want to give up. I didn't have that desire. It was just to say, all right, shut up. And then within 2 weeks, I was putting a cheeky vodka in my J2O or my lemonade so no one saw it. And I was drinking. And then obviously I got drunk, blah, blah, blah. But when I stopped this time, it's been 16 years. And I asked my dad, and my dad was like, it took me 2.5 years to believe you'd stop drinking. It took my friends when they saw me with an alcohol-free beer. They're like, we knew you'd fall off the wagon. Well, not friends, but people. I'm like, alcohol-free, mate. People now realise I will not drink unless, please God, it never happens, but something awful happens and all of a sudden I have a slip-up. I don't plan to. I never will do. But I set myself little goals to get there. Rather than say I'm never going to have a drink in my life, right now I'm saying don't have a drink till Valentine's Day. When I get to Valentine's Day, I'll say don't get till I get back to England in April. Then I'll say my birthday. But people...
In other words, walk before you run.
Exactly. It took a long time for people to believe that, right, he means it. He's not drinking again. Well, now, like with these channels you mentioned, it's like that. They're now there. Their day one of sobriety, let's just use it like the drinking, is now. Do they follow through? Well, we'll only see. But you mentioned expressions, whether you like him or not, whether he turns up to protest or not. And he said if he's going to a game, and there is one, he will go. Said it on Cowlands yesterday. But if he's not going to a game, he won't go. He's not going to go out of his way. Like for instance, I'll go to the ground and protest, but I won't step foot in there. I won't step foot in the ground. That's his choice. But the fact that Chris Expressions is talking about it, the guy has an absolutely monumental reach. And him just talking about it and mentioning it and is pushing it. That man gets more retweets, likes, laughs, whatever. The message is getting out there. Yeah. This is what some people, like you said, Dan, cannot get there and physically protest because either A, they're not in the game, B, they're too far out of London just to drive down, even though some people have said, you know what, I am to drive down there, but that's your choice. It's my choice not to go in that ground at all, even if I get a free ticket. I won't give Daniel Levy my oxygen, let alone my money. So people are trying to do what they can do. And I'll go back to, like I said, with my sobriety. Now they're saying it. Let's see what they do. They haven't had any time to do anything, so let's not knock them. If I said, right, today's my first day of sobriety, there's no alcohol in this house, and I've gone 2 days sober, and they say, do you have any alcohol in your house? I'm like, no. They're like, well, how do you know you wouldn't have drunk if there's fucking alcohol in here? How do you know? That's how it gets. It's like, well, you've got no alcohol in your house, so how are you going to drink? There's been absolutely no chance to act on anything now. But what they have acted on is getting the message out there.
Exactly. And it's like with people got their own way of doing things as well. I mean, 2 people I bring up here that do get dig for the way they sort of, do I say preach, whatever way. Let's say Stel and Sava. Sava doesn't really talk much about going there and doing the protests, but his way of doing it is he won't go to a match.
Yep.
Simple as that. And then he goes and does, I mean, he's a big channel. Then he goes and talks, does his bit on what he says and everything that has got about a lot. That's his way of doing it. Still, he goes to the games. Yeah, because you're still entitled to go to the games. But does he go down on the piss up afterwards or go for something to eat afterwards? No, he goes outside the place. That's his way of doing it. Other people have got different ways of doing this. But when it comes to the whole crunch, you need everyone working together. And it's like them two are doing it in two different ways. I just use them two as an example because the majority of people watching this watch those two as well. They do their piece in their different way.
Yeah.
But they get stick for it.
Well,
it's time we put the stick aside for things and work together. And there are channels big enough out there, like I said, like what Sava did, like Tottenham Away, Tottenham on Tour, Expressions, other channels out there like the two brothers, Ben and Sim. Yeah, they can get Spurs Kings. You can even look at United Spurs of America. He don't like it. Irish Hotspur don't like it. Do you know one? I'm even going to go as far to say another name here of someone who despises Daniel Levy. Hotspur Hippie don't even fucking like him as well and makes it clear as day.
Yep.
So there's been fights between a lot of shows on this, people, but the ones I've mentioned, the high majority are all looking at the same goal at the end of the day. They all want Levy out.
Yep. But then this, again, you're right. I mean, I don't know where Hotspur Hippie is. I've stopped watching him a long time ago.
I've heard him say it clear as day.
I remember. Listen, when I was streaming with him, I knew predominantly he is a very much Levy out person. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned Sava, and like Sava's protest was not going to games and not spending a penny. And you look at that, that's what Sava does. That's what I would do if I was back home, obviously, but I would be outside protesting. That's where Sava and I differ. But Sava has a big reach and does what he does. And then I look at people like Ryan Isaacs, my brother, who took that video that 15 minutes, thousands of people that are seeing Levy out are sitting there at the bar giving him money. So who's the bigger protester? Not that it shouldn't be a competition, but it's like people want to have a go at Sava for doing things his way. But then there's people in that stadium shouting Levy out, and then straight after a game going, fancy a beer? Yeah, let's go down the bar and give him the one thing that we're having a go at him not spending. And then he's putting it in his pocket. It's such a mixed message. Especially, it's not like there isn't many pubs around Tottenham that you can't go frequent. Yeah, you might have to wait a little bit longer for your beer because they can't pour as many pints as they can at the goal line bar, and the beers don't come from the bottom and come quickly. Oh, he's in the building. My little bro. And yes, it might be a bit more expensive because Levy's been crafty again and made it cheaper there, so you stay in there. But these local businesses need support. Literally, you go to Tottenham on a non-match day, and even a non-match when there's not a game in the evening, Tottenham only have the locals. People don't go, do you know what, let's have a night down Tottenham. Or do you know, yeah, let's go to a pub in Tottenham. They rely so heavily on match day revenue. And then during the season, like the end of season, look at the footfall drop for like 3 months or 2 full months.
It's like being over in Ibiza.
Yeah, and everyone goes for exactly that. Exactly that. Ibiza, Iron Apple, Magaluf, wherever. Mate, we're showing our age and where we go.
Zanti.
Yeah,
Zanti
they literally rely on the summer football. Tottenham Hotspur, those businesses, Chick King, which always gets mentioned and is incredible, and all the and other restaurants and the cafes and the whatever, the Turkish restaurants, the Greek, there's a multicultural restaurant business there. There's a massive amount of bars that literally you are queuing to get into on match day. And on non-match day, you could go with 350 people and walk in and still be able to go like that and not touch anyone. They thrive on that business. And people want to spend time giving him money after shouting and doing what they did, rather that go support the local businesses that need it and have been there before Levy, will be there after Levy. It's just, you've got to look at it on both sides of the coin and see that everyone's trying to do something and they have their own way of doing it. And what everyone is trying to do right now is get everyone together. But you've got so many ways. There's so many. We're trying to complete a jigsaw, but it's like when when you've missed that jigsaw piece, and you're looking everywhere around the house for it. That's what's going on right now. We're all a massive jigsaw, and the pieces are aligning. And now it's just getting those extra pieces together. But they're going to take the time to find.
And just quick thing I want to say to Eddie, how you doing, mate? Isn't that what I said when debated with Saber and got abused for it by others because I wasn't in the Ange out bandwagon? Nobody abused you for saying Levy out. Not that I saw on there, and not when you came on mine. People just didn't agree with the fact that you're Ange in. This one ain't about Ange. I couldn't give a fuck about Ange now because people are right when they say the circle will just continue. Yeah. I still believe a better manager gets us better places, gets us better results. But when it all comes down to the crunch at the end of the day, we all know who the see you next Tuesday is. And that is Daniel Levy and Enoch. And we all know it. Or a lot of us know it. There's still plenty out there who don't. But I think for the first time would say that the majority is on the Levy out now.
Yeah.
That is a personal opinion. And from a lot of what I see, does say it is. Am I right? Am I wrong? Only time will tell. But I would say for the first time I have seen it, the majority is Levy out.
Yeah, and this is the thing, Dan. Do you remember when I sent you that massive, and I mass sent it to a load of people? Love this lady. Love this lady.
She's always good.
You know what? There's no one I would love to just meet in person and give a hug more than this woman, because the reason people know whenever I do that is when I started on Tottenham on tour, to We Are Tottenham TV, before Tottenham Away, even during Tottenham Away, and then this woman has, and when I first came on, the abuse I was getting from the people in the chat, no matter what, this woman was there. This woman is incredible. And honestly, every time I see her, it brings a smile to my face. I love this woman. But getting back to it, like you said, I put that passionate rant out where I said, I don't give a flying fuck about the manager. I don't give a fuck who plays for this team. I don't care who goes, who comes. I don't care who's on the bench. And I went mad. And I was like, until this guy is gone at the top, we're going to keep repeating the same. God, like you said, it has gone way past. I don't care about results. I don't care about how we play because I know what's coming. I know how we do it. The only thing that matters is trying to break this cycle and break this trend. And a manager isn't going to change that trend. Players coming in isn't going to break that trend because we've seen the quality go down, down, down. And when we've had players like Kane, we put him in a position where he even said beforehand, you match my ambition, I'll never leave. And did we match his ambitions? But it's not even about, I'm not saying Kane, we miss him because it's 18 months now, deal with it. But when players like him have said, match my ambition, I'll stay, and he's left.
Yep.
Would have been a one. It just goes to show it doesn't matter what players come in, they all want to leave. Doesn't matter what manager comes in, they all get screwed over. Doesn't matter what director of football come in, they're either not listened to or they're absolutely shambolic and can't even do their job. But this man who's umpteen opportunities to fix his ways, to change his ways, to show, even tried to give a glimmer of hope. I mean, I remember clear as day, that day, do you remember when Spurs announced they're pumping £150 million into the club for Conte?
Yeah.
The amount, my Twitter, Ben Daniel called me from We Are Tottenham TV. I was with Brad Matthews because he'd flown over from England to Canada. We were about to go up the CN Tower. My phone was in my pocket, and I said, why the fuck is my leg hurting or burning? And it's because my phone, look at this, didn't even spend it all. Nope. We didn't even buy it on pure quality.
Nope.
We bought 6 or 7 players with it. £150 million. Tottenham could go out right now and buy 2 £75 million players with that money. Exactly.
We spent 100 of it and basically got it back off what we sold Harry Kane.
Exactly, but not even that, Dan. We spent 100 million of it on quantity yet again, not quality. Other teams, when they need to fix an issue and they've got XYZ, they will go spend it on the 1 or 2 players they need. We treat £100 million like go get 6, 7 players.
I'll be back in 2 seconds, Brian.
Yeah. I'll go on my little rant. And this is the thing. This is the thing where we are now. It's Ange out is a big thing, and obviously for obvious reasons. But I know Sava said it does matter who comes in, and they might have and that's Sava's views. We know what's going to happen. This is why I don't care who's in charge right now. Do I want Ange out? Yes. Is it the number one problem that new manager comes in and solves? No. The money we get for players. Kinski, we spent £12 million. I think it's £12 million, isn't it, or 12 point something? Is it going to make a change? No. The sole focus now, once and for all, thank God, is solely focused on Daniel Levy. And like Dan said, it's why people shouldn't even care about going on about Ange anymore. Yes, we all know we want him out. Yes, we know he's a huge problem. Yes, injuries and everything else. But you know what? He's actually, in a way, and it's going to sound stupid what I'm about to say, Ange Postecoglou is actually helping Levy out. He's actually helping us with what is going on. We've just had to sit back. This is, Dan, I don't know if you heard what I was just saying. Yeah. Ange Postecoglou actually being here is actually helping Levy out. The longer he's here at the moment, yes, he needs to go. But if I said to someone right now, at the end of the season, we get rid of Ange, but Levy stays, or we get rid of Levy and Ange stays, 100%. Because the way this is going right now, every single defeat, every single decline, every single, why didn't you try this? Why are you playing an injured player? Why are you doing this? Yes, it's his responsibility, but this is being allowed. And you can see that it's being allowed because it's just, so everything he's doing, the slide in the league, people got to realise, I am Ange out now. I am Ange out. Before I was like, I'm Ange in because I don't trust Levy to get them. I'm Ange out now, but the longer he's staying and this is happening, it's putting more focus on how he's not been backed with players, whether you want to back the manager or not. You would think a rational owner of any business, if they saw a department absolutely hemorrhaging, whatever, in this case, players, but you'd say money, obviously, in companies, you'd be like, right, we need to focus on that fucking area. Let's get
Levy was bagging if Levy was backing Ange, like he says, there'd have been about 3 players in there already.
Yeah,
and not one of them who's basically going to be our second goalkeeper, which we didn't really need because there was already obvious there was ones there who could do it. If Levy was going to back him that much, we would have about 3 players by now. Yes, there's the other side of it. Do you want to see Ange spend more money on certain players? No, I don't. I don't want him at the club. I don't think he's a good enough manager. But on the other side of it, if Levy's just actually going to put his foot down and say, right, fuck you fans, like he does with everything else, and say, I am backing this manager come 2-4 now, then fair play to him.
Yep.
Go and back him then. No, a lot of us don't want to see players that come in through Ange or Ange's pick because a lot of them have been dog shit. No, most of us want Ange gone now because he is just doing terrible. The list goes on and on and on.
Yep.
But if Levy was really going to stand by him and stand by his word, we would have had 3 players in there. Even if they would have been 3 loan players, we would have had 3 players in there by now that would be able to help Ange do his job. Do I think it would have much effect? No, it don't, because I don't think Ange is a good manager or whatever, but it's the principle of the matter.
It would show that he's backing him. It's not just words. He has come out.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Mate, this is the thing. That's what I'm saying. Scott, people aren't moving. Scott, I don't know. People aren't moving from Ange out. What I'm saying is the decline and everything that's going wrong under him is shoving more light on Levy. There's no doubt he needs to go.
It's showing Levy more for what he actually is what I just said. And something quickly that I've held up here that I want to say what Lord Rodney Trotter says. Always comes up with something amusing on here. But this is a very good point. I'm trying to still remember who it was who said it first. It was on Stell's show. It might have even been Murray, if I remember right. Like not just doing it at football, but doing it at the concerts and that, yeah. And Lord Rodney's just said it perfect here. All we need is even if 179 of us, even 100 of us, the way I see it, turned up at a Beyonce concert at the stadium, making a bit of noise and making a scene, yeah. Just being a pain in the arse. Nothing nasty, nothing like that, but just there being a pain in the arse. Start walking up to some of the people, some of the guests coming in, like, do you know anything about Daniel Levy? Do you know anything about just being a prick, basically, just being awkward? He's exactly right.
It's what we did in the NFL. It's what I did at that very first.
Exactly. Things like that. That would go viral all over TikTok and everything. And TikTok's bigger than fucking YouTube. You know, that would go everywhere. Yeah, just seeing that, and the word will get about even further. That is how you do things. He's 100% right there. I agree with
no,
that.
He's completely right. And I'm just saying with Lucky Singh, big up to you, buddy. We were linked with Jonathan Towell, and people were starting to believe this could be it, and he's putting a rabbit out of the hat. Well, or Mateus Towell, sorry. He's now joining, or now more likely to join. Mate, what these people are putting out is literally, I need to start, I'm going to do it in the summer window when I bring back Buzzword Bingo. I'm going to start putting a thing that says, right, the first link was here. Let's have a guess on how many minutes or hours until it's kiboshed. Because literally, they're now clutching at straws. But as Lord Rodney Trott was saying, I did this my very, very first. James Flower will know I tried to do this. The game, what was the team the Ukrainian team we played, Harry Kane's last game.
I
can't remember whoever it was.
I can't say it. I know who you're on about. Where he went and scored his 4 goals on his last
scored his 4 goals.
Game for us. Yeah, I know who
you're had raised ticket prices, and I said, you know what? We're going to do a protest. Solely, nothing to alleviate out, not the banners and everything. We are going to be there to try and make a scene about the fans being overpriced in tickets, and why is this happening when obviously it doesn't reflect on the football pitch. 4 people turned up, and 2 of them were me and Ryan Isaacs. James Flower and his son came, and then because he was taking his kid to the game. Obviously it was a cheap ticket, and he wanted to take his son and give his son a bit of enjoyment, and people would know it might be the last chance you get to see Harry. But this is the thing, when it's a non-match day or something, we did it for the NFL. We didn't have 179 like the number Lord Rodney Trott picked up. But we had people there. We walked up and down the high road with the massive Levy out banner. People came and spoke to us. We got into the American press. Big up Philly. Philly was there. Philly came to the end. That's where I met Philly. And we did that. And the scenes that the club put on for the NFL, or the NFL put on as an NFL experience, because the NFL won't pull back on the funds. They literally took over the road from the stadium a bit further down to right up to Bruce Grove Station, with all kinds of events, giving away free.
Whenever it comes to America, USA, and it comes to a show, you'll never get better.
Yep.
They know how to do the show of shows.
Yep. So this is the thing, and you go there. I mean, for me, I went. One of the things I found absolutely fucking unforgivable, and loads of people were like, "Oh my god, you're going well over the top, Brian," and blah blah blah. It was he arranged those Beyonce concerts. When they were released, one of the performance dates was the FA Cup final. Spurs were still in the FA Cup when that was announced. It's like, so wait a minute. You know full well, like when we won the FA Cup in '91, like clubs do when they win a cup, their fans that weren't at Wembley or wherever this cup was, they make a beacon for the stadium to all celebrate together as fans and happiness in the pubs. Can you imagine if Spurs got to the FA Cup final and won? We'd won it, and you'd want to go. Everyone would want to palm down. Yeah, I'm not going to speak about that guy. But you've done it on an FA Cup final day. So when hundreds or thousands of Spurs fans potentially, obviously we didn't go on and win it, so, but it was like people were like, why are you going mad at this, Brian? Why? I was like, because remember, I've said all along, this isn't with me. It isn't the reason I switched was because of Martin Jol, but the reason I am why I am now, it isn't even yes, the football and everything, but it's how he has treated the fans with such disdain.
Yeah.
Like we've gone from fans to clients. Obviously, we can use that phrase, and the history of this football club.
But it's not
you
even
and I,
the way
Dan, growing up as kids, were told by family members, friends, business acquaintances, whatever, about how incredible this club was as a for having glory regularly. Not like a Liverpool, whatever, but we won FA Cups. We're in Europe. We won Europe. It's the history is removed now. There is no history spoken about, and you look at it. It was Bill Nick's birthday on Sunday.
We had to fight to sell a bloody book.
Yeah,
when half of the income was for fucking charity.
Yeah.
What was his name?
David Pleat.
David Pleat. That's right. I'm terrible with names. And for what he had been at Spurs and everything, and that he had to fight tooth and nail to get a little book in there because half the money was going to fucking charity.
Yeah.
Now, if that would have been any other club, despise them or not, Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham, we'll even go to other clubs, London clubs, Millwall, Charlton. I'm just using the London clubs. He wouldn't have even had to ask. That fucking book would have been there. He had to fight tooth and nail to get that fucking book in there.
Yeah.
Because
it's not even fight tooth and nail. The huge fan uproar.
Yeah.
Which goes back to where we are with this. It took all the fans to come together, unite, like it did when he tried to furlough staff, like it did with the Super League, and it all came to that.
And there is the proof it works.
With all bitchiness, all moaning, all people going, no, this is unacceptable. Let's do this. Bang. And it worked. Big up, James Flower, brother. And this is the thing. I can see it in the chat again. Already. It's we're kiboshing something and ruling it out before it even gets started. Honestly, it's getting to the point. It's like, how can we achieve success if we're not prepared to give it a go? Listen, this man here, Tony, who has been as
always on here.
Again, a guy I speak to regularly, and again through the power of YouTube, social media, whatever. See, Mr. Rodriguez, who has been Enoch out, Ange out, Levy out, the whole shaboodle. He is prominent everywhere. I see him in all the chats, but even when I'm watching or when I'm on, he's always there. We speak. But he's realizing that we've got to come together. We've got to do something. And I'm going to be using, I don't mean using as, I'm going to launch something for the international fan base very, very soon to make them included. He's got a massive part to play with Sweden. He's got his Swedish Spurs group. There's people all over the world that can help. And there's people here like talk is cheap. We go back to it. Talk's cheap. There has been nothing. I don't know how many times I have to say it. There's been nothing to act on since Sunday or Monday with Sava's video. We are here on Wednesday. I'll give you the UK time. 2:30 in the afternoon. Wednesday afternoon. There's been no game, nothing to protest, nothing to launch and come together. People are trying to come together. It's not going to be like, right, there we go. We've all said we'll talk. Let's talk. I've got nothing planned for the rest. I'm going to clear my entire life schedule. Work, family commitments, kids, business issues, family issues. All of it goes out the window because it's going to take a moment. So when people say talk is cheap, look, I can gladly, proudly say, and if anyone wants to come up against me, they will lose, and they won't just lose from me saying. Everyone will jump on top of them. There's people that have said recently when I've tweeted, Brian, what have you done? What are you doing? And I'm like, I think you, and I just say, I'm not going to say anything. If you don't know what I've done, then there's no point talking. That's simple. And then everyone goes on and says, well, he's done this, and so on and so on. Because I've been there, walked the walk, talked the talk, done what I said I will do. Well, now people are there. They're at, like I said, they're at the point where they said, right, I want to do something. I want to be involved. I want to listen to what's going on and see what we can do to help. So far, there's been nothing they can help with because there's nothing going on.
What can you expect someone to do when there's nothing to do at that moment? Like you say, they've only just jumped in. It hasn't even come down to the time to vote yet, if you get what I mean. So how can you vote when it's not time to vote yet? You can't do it. You can only preach a bit.
Exactly.
But you still can't vote because it's not time to vote. So how can you expect someone, okay, they might have disagreed with everything and said a lot of stuff you don't like, but now they're saying you're on your side and that, you're like, well, prove it. Well, okay, prove it. When is the time to prove it? That is when we will see it. But tomorrow won't be the time to prove it because it's not the voting day. It's on the day you vote is where you make your point. If you see where I'm coming from.
Well, one thing I will say, Dad, another thing, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think the last Europa League game we had at the home ground, and I think Liverpool as well, there are thousands of seats empty. There are thousands. Mate, I don't even know tomorrow. And I will say one thing. Well, what Spurs have done before, and I know this absolutely 100 billion% factual, is on Europa League games when obviously season ticket holders have the options whether they want to have their cup games and it's bought already. They know the amount of tickets that have been sold for this game. They know if there's XYZ allocation left because people haven't taken their season ticket or whatever. They have gone out and given it to the community. People in Spurs tracksuits, Spurs employees have gone out and said, you got tickets for the game tonight? And they've gone, no. Here you go. If there's 3 or 4 of you, here you go. There's whatever, complimentary, because it looks better. Like when you work in the hotel industry, if you've got 100, and I know this from what I do, if they've got 100 rooms free for tonight, rather than leave them free, and they're £150 a night, let's just say, rather than leave them
they
free,
give them half price.
They'll go, do you want this hotel room tonight? £75.
Exactly.
Because it looks better that the rooms are full and they got £75 than nothing. So what looks better for them now, when they've got hardly any people coming, in games like this, Premier League games where season ticket holders can put it on the exchange or leave it there and they can't resell the ticket because obviously they don't know if that seat is going to be used. Europa League game, it could say tonight ticket sales were, let's say, 45,000. They could wait till midday tomorrow. No, they've got 50,000. They've got 5,000 tickets. They're like, right, do we want 5,000 seats empty, which they know they can focus on and go, my God, people are voting with their feet? Or you go out in the community and go, here you go, yeah, you got a ticket? Here you go, get your seat in there. And then what they go and do, they'll go spend in the bar. They'll go buy food. So
they'll make their money back. That's what they do. That is business at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's what they do, and I know they've done that. For Europa League games, I know they've done it a lot in the Conference League for the games we were there. But this is big up, Terry. This is the game they play. Like I said, they will use dirty tactics to play against the ever-growing Levy out or whatever you want to call it, movement. We're going to have to fight dirty back at them, not each other. We should all be fighting against them, not fighting amongst each other. Like we said, Dan, you and I have said this many a time. Before where we are now, I'm so sure Levy sits up there going, I can't believe I'm getting away with this. Because he can do anything, and all we're doing is, rather than let's go here, I told you to do that. No, he's doing this for a rip. It all kicks off, and he's like, I can literally do whatever the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
and no one's gonna. But now people who are going like that are like, well, wait a minute, and this is what people got to realize: don't fight dirty amongst ourselves.
Again, divided and conquer.
Correct. This is, mate. It's textbook. It is
It's the oldest trick in the world.
Textbook.
And just think how easy it is for him to do it. When everyone's fighting each other, he don't even have to fight us. When everyone is fighting each other, what does he even have to do?
Chat, I don't see this. When Chad says 24 years of proof, come on, what does that even mean? What does that?
Let me give you an example here, Brian. I'll give an example here, Chan. 25 years of proof, Brian. Come on, yeah. Right, here's the 24 years, 25 years of proof. Levy ain't going to change. There's the proof. Why can we say that? Because nothing has changed. But then nothing has really put him in a situation where he has to change, has it? Well, yes, it has. When the Levy out has started, what did he go and do? He got rid of a manager and he put another manager in there that was big enough to shut people up. When that started doing, what did he do? He got rid of the manager because that's what people was asking for, a lot of people. It does work, but he's never been in such a situation where he's had to change something massive in the club or even got to the point where he feels that threatened that he might have to go. 24 years of history. Yeah, again, the one I go back to, because it's the easiest fucking one, Chin, politics. The same company, whoever, party, whatever you want me to call them, can get voted in for 30 years. Nothing changed, 30 years. All of a sudden, the people have had enough. There's your votes. They're out. The next ones are in for 4 years. Whether they do a better job or nothing is a different story. But the point I am making, yeah, things can change. Things do change when people work together. And the thing I just find perfect for using as the example is politics. Look, some of them were in for the past 12 years, 14 years, and then all of a sudden people had enough. Different vote, different company.
Yep. The other thing I'm going to say, the other thing I'm going to say, because I can see he's put another comment in, so I'll say. But what you got to remember as well is you can say 24 years of evidence. That's fine. I'm 45 years old. I've seen it all. There are people that are now turning that are 18, 19, 20, and all they've seen with football, because fourth is now the trophy that everyone, because of Wenger, people that are of a younger generation have seen him build that stadium, build that training ground, get to a Champions League final, finish fourth, have players like Harry Kane and that great Pochettino team, and people of that age group haven't watched football like you and me, Dan. We were older, where football was about winning trophies. It was like first is first and everyone else is second.
We at least see an FA Cup now and again.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? The way football was deemed successful or watched and consumed is very, very different now to where it was back then. And then when Chan has just said, why is this time different? I'll tell you why it's different quite easily. 17 years when I was doing it, I was by myself, a few other people in Facebook groups. Then it got bigger and we did the NFL, whatever. Then it was 3 of us at a training ground, which ended up getting bigger. Then it was the home ground games, and it started getting bigger. Now there is a massive wave of people. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every time. So now we are where we are. Everyone keeps going back going, why is this time different? Because a lot more people have reached their breaking point. I continue to do what I did with Graham and Ryan with 3 people. People came and joined us. Sometimes there's 8, sometimes there'd be 30. And on the big days, there was a couple of 100 outside the training ground. But that small amount of people, starting as 3, got the BBC down there, got Sky down there, got into the papers, got into, got discussed on TalkSport, did all that, and that was 3 of us. 3 that stood there and took everything. And now we're here. Now we're a lot further down the line, and there's more people. Everything gets bigger. It doesn't just go from here to a massive. Okay, or everyone in. It's got bigger and bigger and bigger as it's gone on, and to keep saying, well, no matter how many times we go around this, Dan, and we go back to this, I keep saying how many times people have had different breaking points.
They do.
It comes to a point as well. We have to remember Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is bigger than YouTube. And yes, there's YouTube channels that have been pro Levy or not against Levy, or looked at things. People look at it positive and negative, or realist and optimist. It's their right to do what they want. But when they wrote, I've felt the way, Stella's felt the way, Sava's felt the way, you felt the way. I can go on and on with the names. But things are now changing. Things change. We get older. Things get older. Life changes. Life throws different obstacles in your way. It's not plain sailing. And now we're here. And amongst us, like you said, and Vindaloo will know, you mentioned it before, AFTV were getting absolutely hammered for their Arsene Wenger out campaign. Absolutely hammered, and Kroenke's out.
Death threats, everything.
Yeah, and they had a huge reach, and no one was doing anything. But then it got to the time of the Super League, and the Super League was the time that everyone went together, and they had 10,000 people there. And look, yes, they turned up at the protests. Yes, they organised the protests. Our big ones, not so much. Ben tried to arrange the Euro Super League one, but Spurs fans being Spurs fans didn't turn up. But that was during COVID as well. So even though Arsenal had thousands, we didn't. Well, whatever. And it was badly organised, and the trust we all wanted to do more didn't. But they had a huge reach. We look at it, when they were doing it, they had 1 million people. They had 1 million subs. No Spurs channel is near that. We Are Tottenham TV has 1/10 of it. And We Are Tottenham TV, like them or not, and people know I fucking love them. Love them. Both as a channel and as two of the closest people in my life. And what they've done for me personally behind the scenes and vice versa. They have 1/10. We look at it, they've got 176,000 subscribers currently.
I think Expressions is the biggest one, isn't it?
Oh, Expressions is by far, but Expressions is more match reviews, comedy, and what he does. It's not transfers.
I'm just saying he's the biggest channel. That's
no. He by far. But they have 1/10 of that reach. So it's not easy, and people want to talk about we got to do this, we got to do that. All these people are waiting on others to do it. Like I said, I started something with the group with 3 people at a training ground. With 3. And people that could get down and wanted to act did. Not many, but did. So now it comes to Ryan's in here. That's the thing, and he's just mentioned that Ryan, I'm gonna slap you so hard when I get home in April. I'm gonna slap you so hard. From a loving place, you need to be taught a lesson. But this is the thing, right? I'll tell you. So I'll give you a story. On transfer deadline day, and Ryan's here, so we're about for it. The Saturday, so the transfer deadline day was on a Monday. On the Saturday morning, Ryan, Graham, I went down there. A few other people turned up. There's a few of us, I wouldn't say more than 20, but there's a few of us. But then come the afternoon, when the guys in our group had finished work or were available, they came down to look at where we could put all the banners that we had, how we could put them up. Spoke with Spurs security, who were they were fine with us. They weren't bad. So they're like, where can we put these flags? The last thing we want to do is put a flag up, and then on the day of the mass protest, they come and say, you can't put that there, plan for it and try and... So we were very careful. We set it all up, and I had hundreds of messages. I mean hundreds, via direct messages on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, we're coming. What time are you going to be there? Where are you going to be? What are you going to do? Blah, 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 blah. And I had people saying they've taken the day off work. They're coming from Newcastle. They're coming from here. They're coming from there. They're doing this. They're doing that. Wonderful. Wonderful. We thought it would be really big. Ryan, Graham and I aimed to be there for 6 a.m. on deadline day to start putting the banners up where we were going to put them. Obviously, we left that Saturday thinking, yeah, do you know what? We're onto something. We are onto something here. Something's going to happen. Then Saturday evening, the news broke about Kulusevski and Bentancur. And as good as that was for the transfer activity and what they achieved to get us the Champions League, all of us knew that were planning and worked so hard through the month thought, that has just killed it. That has just killed it. Fans are going to go, do you know what? Enough. He saved the day. Daniel to the rescue. I got there at 6 a.m. with Graham and Ryan. So many people said, yeah, we're still coming. We were lucky if we had 80 people constantly and other people, dribs and drabs, coming. I left at about 6 p.m. in the evening because we were going to stay till the deadline went at 11 p.m. And I was furious. I got in a car. I was on the verge of walking away from everything. Tottenham, Levy out, you name it, YouTube, Twitter, everything. I was saying, do you know what? I don't need this in my life. I can't deal with it. I'm going to be a Spurs fan, but you're not going to see or hear from me unless you obviously know me. But did I give up? After I calmed down? No. And I've had to take more hits than a lot of people or people in my group. But I'm still standing here fighting, believing that things can happen. It will get there. And I look where we are now and I'm like, do you know what? I'm damn happy that I did stick with it. I'm damn happy that I did stay there because we're uniting. Whichever way you want to look at it, wherever people, and I'm not going to be able to change certain people, and I will say Scott M, Rob, Frank, whatever, Chinrag, thinking that this is all flavour of the month, all about views, but what if it isn't? For Ricky to come out and say what he said when people have been baiting him and criticising him for not doing it because he wanted to stand by the team, he wanted to, whatever Ricky wanted to do, whatever Ricky wanted to do. I can't put words in Ricky's mouth. But for him to, and you've seen Crackers on there, and Crackers has been to a protest and did everything. For Ricky to come out and say what he said, whether you want to believe him or not, fucking well done, Ricky. Well done for saying it. Well done for preaching, or not preaching, that's the wrong word right now. Well done for literally for getting it out there and coming on board. And now let's use your reach that you've got. Forget what he can do himself. His reach. And let's see where we go. It can't constantly be, okay, well, yeah, he's saying this. Richest Man, another one. Came on my show once, always a huge fan of the channel, of Tottenham on Tour. Got to know him personally. I was in London for the Ipswich game. He didn't have a ticket. He won't go into the ground even if he could. Came down all the way to see me from where he lives. And we ended up watching the game on his phone. But he could have probably got a ticket, but he won't go because it's a very, very, very powerful tool just from us talking. Big up, James.
One of the problems with it, Brian, before I come to you, James, big up.
Ryan, send me the tweet.
Is when it's people look at things and they look in the past of what's worked, what hasn't worked, what happens, this and that, yeah? And no, you can't change the past. But the thing you do have a say on is the future. You've done something bad or something's gone right. You can't change the past. But yes, you can have a say what goes on in the future. Just because it didn't work then, don't mean it ain't going to work now. When something hasn't worked then, and you want to try it again now, you just change your tactics a little bit. It's like a game of football. When you play in that team, it just didn't work. Well, then maybe you change your tactics for the next game a little bit, and maybe it will work. You're still playing the same team, but you change your tactics a bit. So just because you lost 2-0 in the last game doesn't mean you're going to lose 2-0 this game if you change your tactics a bit and try it a different way. That's how I describe it with that. You can't change the past. None of us can do that. We wish we could. I've done things in the past I wish I could fucking change it. Can I fuck? No, I can. I've had to live with it, and I've only had to say of what goes on in the future of my life. And I stepped out of all the stuff I've done in the past and got myself a wife, basically, who helped me get out of everything else. And with that, I had a call in my future. James, how are we doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Really, really good.
Hey, James, just before you go, I just want to read out very quickly, and then I'm going to shut up and let James go. People have been saying Kulusevski's cool. Listen to what Kulusevski has just said in a press conference. He has said, Kulusevski on the club's recent problems. You can look at the manager, you can look at the players, but it's bigger than that. So even the players are now calling it out. People have got to realise, people have got to see now that this is so much bigger than what YouTube channels can do. It's the fire is being fueled.
Players don't usually say anything. Do you know what would be the biggest one now? If Harry Kane from over in Munich turned around and said, "Yeah, boys, this is why I'm here," and he put his bit in as well. That would be the icing on the cake. But anyway, James, go for it, mate.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Brian was saying there. There's certain things that there's certain things that you can do and you can't do. So by doing this, is there any guarantee it's going to work? Absolutely not. It could be exactly the same outcome as every single other one. But in my opinion, there's two types of people in this world. One are the ones that are going to try and eventually will get success, and there's people that just sit there and say, "No, it's not possible." In my opinion, and I can only relate that to myself. I had a terrible, terrible childhood, and I could have gone to wherever I wanted to go, and I chose not to. It's taken me 3 or 4 attempts to start my own business and actually last longer than 6 months. So does that mean on the 4th attempt you just go, "Nah, it didn't work. I can't do it. Nothing's changed"? It's that you just can't. For me, the more people call out people and say it's not good, even the comments, "It's not going to work." All right, well, what should we do then? Should we just sit here and shut up? Because if it's not going to work and your outlook is it's just not going to work, then shut up complaining about the club, because you've got the club that you want. If it's not going to work and you're not prepared to change it or try to change it, then shut up. Enjoy your football. That's where I am. If it falls flat on its face, it falls flat on its face. If there's a chance, if there's 0.05% chance that it'll work, I'm in. I'll help. Whatever I can do, I can do. I live 3-4 miles away. I said to Brian, like when we first met at the friendly, I drove yeah. I drove 4 hours to go to a protest of 100 people, maximum 100 people. But it was my bit that I could have done. For me, like I said, if there's a tiny chance that it could help, then I'm all for it.
Exactly. You got to start somewhere, innit? I mean, now if you go and do it exactly the same way, well, live off your learn and live, innit? Live and learn. So exactly, that's why I said, like, you go to the second one, you tweak a few tactics, and I revert it to a football game on what our manager doesn't seem to do. But this isn't about him. And at the end of the day, if you don't try, you don't get. And what don't Tottenham ever do? Try.
Yeah.
We don't
and I actually, I think the best thing for Tottenham now is Ange stays. I think the best thing for Tottenham now is that Ange stays, because Ange has got a cult, rightly or wrongly. I think wrongly. Ange has got a cult, and that cult are turning on Levy, and that's only good long term for the club, not short term, long term.
You know what you're saying there, yeah? I'm agreeing with it. I mean, from a football side, purely a football side view of things, I want the manager gone. I don't think he's good enough, yeah? But again, this ain't about him. What this is actually starting to show for a lot of people is Daniel Levy is now claiming that he's doing what a lot of us have actually wanted him to do, and that is stick by a manager. Whether he's doing good, whether he's doing bad, stick by him. Okay, he's stuck by him. He's kept the job. I still think that Levy's going to get rid of him in February, because I think it's all down to Levy not having to spend the money. And I think if Levy does that, it will show even more. Levy knows he's in a corner at the moment. He's got a lot of people that want Ange in. He's got a lot of people that want Ange out. He's got a lot of people that want him to back the manager. But is he backing the manager? Right now, a lot of us want Ange out. And a lot of us are like, do we want him to buy more players? No, we don't, this and that. But if the board is going to stick with him, Levy's going to stick with him, then there's not a lot we can do about that one in particular. Yes, we can make up issues, things could change, but let's just say he's going to stick with him come love nor money. Well, I think we can definitely say Ange hasn't been backed in this window, can't we? Forget whether we want him in or not.
Yep.
He's a manager at Spurs at the moment. He needs some extra players on there. Has he been backed? Has he fucked? And Levy's the one bigging it out every 5 minutes. I am standing by this manager, come love nor money. Well, Mr. Levy, you ain't doing a very good job of it. Whether we want him in or out, forget that part.
Yeah. If new owners come in and they want what's best for the club, are they going to keep Ange? No. So by getting the main problem out, in my opinion, filters out all the little problems. Maybe not all of them, but it will filter out the other problems. If somebody comes in to win, they're not going to keep Ange. So for me, you need to get rid of the main problem, and then the little problems you focus on yourself. So like they say with like dieting, the main problem with dieting is stop eating. Once you stop eating, you can then start exercising more. But the main problem is stop eating. So it's the same with Levy. If you've got Levy as the main problem, but there's loads of little problems, people say Ryan Mason, people say Ange, people say the medical team. But if you get the bulk problem out in Daniel Levy, then the rest will slowly peter out. Because if the new guy comes in and he's a good guy, he goes, right, medical team, shit, next one. Right, Mason, shit, next one. And then they'll work through. They'll go, right, players, he's crap, next one. So for me, you have to start with the major problems, and then we'll focus on the little problems as we go along.
That is true. When you really want to, when people say, like, sometimes when you cut up the head of a snake, another one appears. Yeah, sure it does. The next one that takes us over, sure, he's going to be in there for the money as well. No, not many people do what.
2 seconds.
Yeah, well, not many people do what he did with Chelsea. Not many people do that, do it for the fun of it. But as long as we've got an owner that is interested in the football, that wants results, that wants ups, that wants Spurs to win, focus on the business side as well, because we want that money coming into the club to spend it on the football side as well and keep the club going. But James is bang on with what he's just said. You get someone in there. I mean, look at it this way. I mean, the phrase I use, people don't like it, but Levy is a cancer through and through. And what he does to the club is exactly the way on cancer works on a human being. I know that's probably just made people cringe, but I can say firsthand, I watched both my mum and dad die of that, yeah? And what Levy does is exactly what that does to you. It eats you inside out. Yes, deep, the way I've just put it, and some people have probably just cringed and whatever, but I've seen it hands-on myself. And God forbid should I ever have to go through that or anybody else. But the point I'm making is what he does is literally cancerous at this club. And he eats us from the inside out. And it just trickles down the rest of the body, basically. Once that one bit is
that. My son was calling.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, Dan.
Once that one bit is infected, it starts spreading around the rest of the body. That's why they have to focus on that one bit, get that main bit up and dead, and things calm down. It's a big thing. But the reason I'm using it as this is exactly what you said. That is exactly what Levy is. And he just spreads, and his shit just trickles down the club.
Yeah.
Looking at it like Egypt, like a pyramid. Just comes all the way down, and the shit just rolls all the way down to where it is just total shit at the bottom. You go and get something decent at the top, the atmosphere will change. Things will change. Things will start happening. Again, it's not a 5-minute job, but you're right. You cut it off at the top, and you get someone there who actually wants something to happen, it will start slowly affecting down the club. So I'm 100% what you said. Sorry, Brian, go on.
Yeah, no, it's just a couple of, I'm going to mention 2 people in the chat now for different reasons. I saw with Rob, Frank, and again, Rob, this isn't personal you or anything. It's just, this is where we are right now. He's just said, he's put a comment in saying, if people go into the stadium and do things and give them money, they're in no position to dictate what the fans should do. But then there's people that want the YouTubers that go to games to come together to do something. So people are saying, why aren't they coming together? Why they got to come together? It's all for clicks and like, blah, and they want to see it happen. But then on the other side, they're saying, if you go into the stadium, how can you dictate something? But you want the YouTubers to lead something. This is where it all comes falling apart. I'm going to mention, and I'm sure he's not going to care or mention, I know he's in the chat, Terry O'Shea. Terry, who I had my first phone call with yesterday, wonderful human being. had the chat
Always
with
leaves
him.
good points on him.
I had the chat with him. We've got, he's seen up me in chats. He reached out to me on Twitter, started talking on DMs, and now I speak to him on the phone yesterday. He was saying, I've been Levy out for a long, long time, but I didn't think just me would make a difference. But he saw everything we were doing and supported it. But now he's like, no, time's over. I'm going to make a difference. I want to do my part. And now he's going to attend things. Now he's going to do things. But he'll still leave you out. But it's like, again, you use politics. When people go, oh, well, did you vote for this? And someone goes, well, no, I didn't vote at all. And then they go, well, you've got nothing to say. You could have had your say and made an impact. We can't have it that one moment you're having a go at guys for not doing something, and then the very guys you're having a go at for not doing something, you're having a go at them for doing it.
Can I just want to add to that, Brian, just because me and you met over certain things and we've had quite deep conversations since meeting. So I want to add a little bit of a deeper spin to that in a nice way is, what if people go there to escape their week and their daily jobs and the stress and the pressure and their mental health? And for some people, going to football is their release. It's their, I'm at football. This is my home. This is my relaxation. So what we're saying is you shouldn't do that. You should struggle mental healthily. You shouldn't escape and go to the place that you want to do. For me, I went to Ipswich and I went there. I hate Levy. I would do anything to get him out. I went there with my son and my son said, Dad, do you mind if I get that Spurs shirt? And I said, absolutely, mate. Inside of me, it's killing me inside. But how am I going to take my son there? And my son goes, can I have a shirt? No, it's Daniel Levy. Absolutely not. I'm going to say, you know what, mate? These are the memories that we're going to cherish forever. So, yeah, you go there and you get your Spurs shirt with your favourite player's name on the back. And then I hope he does the same with his children. Does that mean that we're all Levyian and we're part of the problem? I'm sorry. Absolutely not. In my opinion, some of the problem is, oh, yeah, people can't do with honesty. Honesty is the problem. Oh, this is it. They're all opinions. No one is wrong. No one is right. Everyone could do whatever they want by going about saying what they want, doing what they want. If someone goes to a game, they're not the problem. They're doing what they believe is right. That for me is the problem there and then. You're already creating divides and we need to be together, not divided.
No, I'll make you right. Opinions are opinions, and when it's purely opinions, you can't be right, you can't be wrong, sort of thing. I can have a total different opinion to you, and me and you, James, we've had quite a few crossovers on opinions.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've actually said a better opinion, and I've stood back, and there's been other times I've given you a better opinion, and you've stood back, and then other times it's been fact. But when it's an opinion being opinion, and no one will step back on their opinion, at the end of the day, it's just, you know what? You just have to both agree to disagree. You have to agree to disagree sometimes, don't you? You can fight it for so long. But then sometimes you just agree to disagree because nobody is right and nobody is wrong.
Spot on.
That's just how I see it when it comes to opinions.
The main thing is, right, and this is almost like a plead, if you like. If we're all Tottenham fans and we all want what's best for Tottenham, we have to come together. That's it. In my opinion, we've seen me, Brian, I mean, I've only been to one protest and done my bits and pieces here, but Brian, Graham, I've met Iggy there. All of these guys have been to those protests doing their parts. And for people to shoot people down for going to that sort of stuff, it's just not right. We all need to be one. Listen, you can't go to war with one man. It very rarely will it work. You need to go together. This guy's making a hell of a lot of money out of all of us. So it's going to have to be a big thing to get him out of it.
It is. Or to make him change his ways, if that's what it comes down to. It's going to take a big thing, and the way you're going to do it is to a man's pocket. That is how you hurt a businessman, in his fucking pocket. Will things change? Are people going to get together? I think there's more of a chance now that we've got to take it, because we've had chances and blown it before and whatever else. But if we don't, then what's the point on a lot of people just sitting here complaining about it all the time and everything and doing nothing about it? It's like sitting indoors and you've got a light in the front room that's fucked, and every time you put something in there, like a bulb in there, it just blows it every time, and you think, you know what, fuck it, I ain't gonna put another bulb in there and waste it. No, really, you should get the electrician down there to see what the problem is You know, it could be a couple of things. But if you don't change, if you don't get that sorted, you're still going with no light in the front room. So don't complain about it when there's all you need to do is make a phone call to get it sorted. It might seem like a weird one to a few people, but it's just a random thing I can think of. And yeah, if nothing is going to get done about it and you're going to do nothing about it or whatever, or not be willing to make that phone call or not be willing to do what you got to do, be happy with what you got.
That's my point. I would rather try and fail than to never try at all.
Correct.
I'm 100% with you. And so with this, I've got a couple of things I've got to do this afternoon now. Thanks for coming on, Brian. Where are we going to catch you up soon?
I'll definitely have a video coming out Friday. I myself might need to take just a couple of days. I'll be on We Are Tottenham TV to do the post-game tomorrow, I'd imagine. But I might literally take a few days off because it just gets too much right now. It just gets too much with with just everyone expecting everything straight away, and it gets a bit too much. So I might take a few days off actually, apart from We Are Tottenham TV, the post match on the fan show, and a pre-record I'll get done for We Are Tottenham on Tour Friday, and then I think I might take a good few days off and spend some time with Alana. So not too sure.
But sooner or later, we will see you.
I say that, you know what will happen. I'll be on every bloody day bitching about Levy. That's what we do. So
it's like the same as me, mate. I'm random.
Who knows, mate? It gets so bad at times. What annoys me in my private life with this, because when this heats up, obviously so many people are streaming, and you're sitting there with your wife, you got or your boyfriend or whoever you're with, your family, and you're like, oh, I wonder if a stream's on, and it's like, I see a stream, and I'm like, oh, honey, is there anything you want to catch up on TV? If you want to have a bit of me time, you do that. And I'm like, and then I find myself on a bloody stream. So a couple of days ago, one thing I did do is I said to myself, right, I'm going to spend time with Alana. And I just left my phone in the bedroom and walked into the living room and said, honey, whatever you want to do tonight, we do. My phone is staying in the room. I won't know a goddamn thing. So I think I've got a few of those days coming in where the phone will be in a different room to me. Cheers, Sue. And thank you, everyone.
I mean, and that's the way you got to be. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't look after yourself, who else is gonna? Unless you've got a great partner. I mean, James, I'm sure we'll catch you on another one sooner or later yourself.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
And just the point of what is on here, and this, I think, has made a very good point. 24 years, 16 managers, 1 trophy, time for a change. Now, I'm going to be. I'll do a show sooner or later. I know I'm very erratic with my shows anyway, but health hasn't been a great thing of late either, and I'm not willing to make myself fucking ill doing this all the time. So I just come and go as I sort of do, as when I feel I can do it and that. And when I'm back on my feet properly, I'll obviously be a lot more regular on here. But big shout out to Sava for the show he did the other day. Put everything in place within 16 minutes. I've just done it in 2.5 hours, as I do with the short shows. And everyone, divided and conquer. That is what we are, divided and conquered. It is about time that we get together, because a majority of us all want the same thing. And that is for Tottenham to finally be a fucking football club again, not a fucking business. So everyone, thanks for coming on. Give us a quick like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. And I'll catch up with you two soon. Everyone, have a good day.
I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.